KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Hello, it's the John Kobylt Show. And we're on every day from 3 to 6 o'clock. There's no excuse. You can't say, well, I had a meeting, I was working. Yeah, everybody works, all right? That doesn't fly. That's what the podcast is for. John Kobylt Show on demand. We release that after 6 o'clock, and it's the same as the radio show. All right. Yesterday at this time, I was expressing my. Did I express any sorrow about Jackie the Eagle? I don't remember. No,
not at all.
No, nothing. Okay. But I did. We did talk about PETA, and I'm astonished, really, that PETA hasn't taken the lead against Karen Bass and Nithya Raman for not doing anything about all the murder and all the torturing of dogs on Skid Row, and the police chief Jim McDonnell. Well, I saw. Well, you got a letter, I guess, Deborah, and I did, and it was copied to you and to Ray Lopez. In fact, we got 2 letters from PETA, and I thought it was going to be about my lack of sadness regarding the Eagle, but it turns out, no, they actually heard what I said about their lack of response to the dogs being tortured and murdered on Skid Row. We heard back from Colleen O'Brien, Senior Vice President of PETA, and also heard back from Wes Burdett. And I'll read you what they wrote. I'll just summarize it. Hi, John. This is from Wes Burdett. I thought you and your listeners would be interested in PETA's latest effort to push LA officials to enforce animal protection laws on Skid Row. PETA is sending Mayor Karen Bass a full-page appeal in Sunday's Los Angeles Times. Now, is that this coming Sunday? Oh. Although, how many people get the print version of the LA Times? Like, what is a full-page ad in the digital age? Calling her out for refusing to crack down on all the animals being abused and neglected and killed. Pointing a finger at Gavin Newsom for failing to intervene. Well, good luck with that psychopath. And they go on and on. And then Colleen O'Brien wrote, saying, your recent discussion about dogs on Skid Row caught our attention. Since you mentioned me, I want to follow up in case you missed my colleague's email. And they'd like to send a PETA representative to join me for a conversation.
Well, I do have an update. So PETA Senior Vice President Lisa Lang is going to be on your show tomorrow at 4.
Oh, all right, good. I knew Ray was working on something. Given the inaccurate claims of inaction made on the show, we would appreciate the opportunity to clarify our involvement. And she says what they've done is release a video documenting the problems of dogs being illegally bred and denied veterinary care, probably all over the city, and plastered LA with sidewalk decals urging Mayor Bass to enforce LA's animal protection laws. Which I'll assume they did, but it's had no effect and doesn't really grab like media attention, right? Doesn't really grab the imagination of people. See, I looked up some of the things they've done in the past. They've done some spectacular stunts in the past, and various websites have put together different top 10 lists. And this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for PETA to do something that's going to require total news coverage from all the outlets and a lot of social media action. For example, during holiday performances of the Nutcracker across the country, PETA activists dressed like furries and handed out free copies of a comic book to children whose parents were wearing fur coats. And the name of the comic book was Your Mommy Kills Animals. And the little kids would open up the comic books and see graphic pictures of skinned minks and mutilated foxes. And inside the book, it had lines like, do you have a puppy you take for walks or play ball with? Or a kitty who likes to chase string? How would you feel if someone took away your kitty or puppy, stomped on their head, and ripped the skin off their bodies? They were handing these things out to little children. Now, that is extreme.
That is extreme.
But this is what I'm looking for here, because the dogs are suffering in an extreme way.
So maybe they should actually do that
So
regarding Skid Row.
I'm not looking for a press release here or a video that nobody's going to see. And I know they put these things online, but who sees them? I'm organized action. I want the golden days of PETA. I don't know if they're just more. Well, here's another one. They had a protest called Holocaust on Your Plate. This is going to be good. They displayed 60 square feet of posters of concentration camp victims shown side by side with images of pigs in factory farms. That is incredibly tasteless and offensive, but they got a lot of attention. Not only that, they took this exhibition to Germany. Yes, they went to Germany with posters of concentration camp victims and pigs, and you're taking a big risk going to Germany with that. They did Kentucky Fried Cruelty commercials, trying to air them during the Super Bowl, but Fox refused to air them. Somehow, it's something to do with Silence of the Lambs. And this is what I'm looking for, because nothing's breaking through here. I don't know what else to do. We've brought this up 20 times already. I'll bring it up 220 times more. There's some media coverage, but what's fascinating, if nothing else, what's fascinating, I want to see how far PETA could go to get Bass and Raman to respond, because Bass and Raman are bricks. They're ice cold. They've shown no interest, no response. Their media people don't respond. This is the new way. You see this more frequently, that now press offices and candidates and office holders simply don't respond to anything or anybody. And I know they've probably gone to their public relation crisis handlers, and those handlers are saying, hey, there's too much out there now. People are scrolling endlessly for 8 hours a day. It doesn't matter if there's some big commotion or scandal. Just wait it out for a couple of days. There'll be 150 other things that they'll be scrolling through, and they'll forget about it. Yeah, it'll just be a little drop in the ocean. And this is true. So they can even allow dogs to be slaughtered on Skid Row, knowing that because of the constant torrent of nonsense on social media, nothing's going to be done. No one's going to get upset. Nobody's watching television news anymore. Nobody's reading the LA Times. There's nobody reading the LA Times print edition. The only time I see it is very, very old men, sometimes at the bagel shop. You'll still see this guy who's like 95 years old. He'll hobble over to the table and spread out his LA Times in the morning, because he's been doing that for 75 years. But there's nobody else reading the Times on a Sunday. Do they even publish on a Sunday? And they're not watching television. TV ratings for newscasts are very tiny and largely very old demographics. And they're not going to go stand in the hot sun and protest in front of Bass's house over this, which is normally what should happen. So I'm looking for PETA to be more creative and outrageous and vulgar and offensive than they've ever been before. I don't know if they can top Holocaust victims and pigs, but that's where they ought to be shooting. Anyway, we'll talk to somebody from PETA tomorrow. More coming up. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. The LA Homeless Services Authority says an accounting glitch is to blame for nearly half of the increase in the city's homeless count. And John, you're talking about PETA. PETA is installing a billboard in the Boyle Heights area urging people to go vegan. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow, highs 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by Amazon Autos. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 605 Pico Rivera.
This one's along the southbound side, and it's coming right up on Whittier Boulevard. 4 cars got into it. Highway Patrol said, hey, we've got all lanes stopped here while we get things situated. And that drive is pushing back almost from Peck Road. Now, it's hard to tell if any cars are squeezing through at this point. If you see it, pound 250, keyword KFI traffic. But it looks like you might have some type of a trickle getting through. North 605, that's slowing down as well, leaving the 105 freeway out of Norwalk as you make your way back to the scene of this crash. Also tough as you make your way out of Sherman Oaks, South 101, from the 405 to the 170-134 split, and ahead in Hollywood from Sunset into downtown Los Angeles. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
If you've been hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, the system is rigged against you, and Sweet James is here to fix it. Don't take on the legal system alone. Sweet James has helped thousands of injured accident victims get back what their accident took from them. Call Sweet James Accident Attorneys for a free case review. You call 1-800-9-MILLION or go to sweetjames.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-MILLION. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
I'm Duncan Newman.
And I'm Maria Newman. When you choose Newman, you get more than new windows. You get our 7-point promise. It's the peace of mind you deserve from replacing your home's windows.
Receive an exact arrival time, a fully protected home from start to finish, and so much more.
Right now, buy 2 Milgard vinyl windows and get 1 Milgard window free, plus our lifetime installation guarantee. At Newman, we finish it right, period. No excuses.
Ask about our fire recovery program, 8777-NEWMAN or newmanwindows.com.
Restrictions apply. License number 570472. Offer ends August 31st, 2026.
It's your turn to cook, but you've also got car shopping to do. Sounds like a lot. Not with Amazon Autos. What you see is what you pay. Shop online, pick it up at the dealership, so you can stay in chef mode. Amazon Autos.
Visit Amazon.com/autos.
This report is sponsored by Audible. When you start listening to books on Audible, traffic might seem like less of an annoyance and more of an opportunity for another chapter. Audible, stories that speak to you. New members can start listening with a 30-day free trial at audible.com.
National Tell a Joke Day is coming up. I got one. Why did Rick cross the 10 freeway? To get to Morongo. I cracked myself up. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
The music of No Doubt performed live by No Duh, the 20th. Poolside playback next Thursday.
Number 4.
Put the pedal to the metal. Earn 3,000 points playing your favorite slots and table games, and you're guaranteed a cash prize, free slot play, promo chips, or a gift. Fridays.
3.
We're the Fantasy Football HQ for draft parties. Book your draft party today.
And the number 2.
We're giving away a 2026 Mustang GT Fastback. Earn entries now, and you could drive off a winner the 31st.
And the number 1 reason.
It's Morongo. Good times.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry, wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Smile Tunes to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit SmileTunes.com and get out of the doghouse today.
Is your old AC struggling in the SoCal heat? Upgrade to a quiet, energy-efficient Mitsubishi electric heat pump system. Stay cool and comfortable without the noise. Visit BeCoolSoCal.com for local contractors, rebates, and financing. Don't wait. BeCoolSoCal.com.
Living on the edge is where you thrive, and Toyota takes you there with Tacoma, Tundra, 4Runner, Land Cruiser, and Sequoia. From crystal blue lakes to open plains, Toyota vehicles are built for the ones who pack courage, not maps, the wild at heart. Because we know it's not the destination that drives you, it's seeking the uncharted that completes you. Wherever your horizon leads, we got you. We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Toyota makes the vehicles, you make it yours.
With Toyota's line of accessories, from lift kits to suspension upgrades, modify your Toyota truck or SUV to suit your off-road dreams. We partner with leading brands like ARB, Rigid, Rhino, and more, so you can customize with confidence. Visit your local dealer for warranty custom work or shop online at toyota.com/accessories. We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Tim Conway Jr. I thought there were already non-allergenic dogs. Bellio, don't you have dogs?
Hers are hypoallergenic.
Or hyperallergenic,
yeah.
You get human-haired dogs. What do you have?
Havanese poodles. So Havapoos.
Havapoos?
Yeah.
I would say no to that if I went to the pet store.
Tonight, 6 to 10 on KFI AM 640.
You want to have a poo?
That's what the guy in Runyon Park, the Canyon, did. He said, no.
No!
This is KFI. More stimulating talk.
Training camp is open. The countdown to kickoff is on.
And it's time to get in the game.
iHeartRadio is the official home of the NFL Podcast Network.
We're obviously incredibly excited if you just want to talk about defense.
Get the insight before it's a headline with NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal.
Thank you to Sean McVay.
Chasing a fantasy title, the Late Round Fantasy Football Podcast helps you draft like a genius.
And hopefully it helps you guys out the most.
This
is what football sounds like.
Download the iHeartRadio app, search NFL, and press play.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. Moist line is 877-MOIST-86. 877-MOIST-86. You use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. After Deborah's News at 3:30, we're going to have on Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin returns to the show. He is the administrator of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, under Trump. And he was given the charge of providing whatever federal influence he can have on rebuilding the Palisades and Altadena after the fires. And also, he's been the point man trying to negotiate with Mexico because Mexico dumps an incredible amount of sewage into the Tijuana River because in Tijuana, they have too many people and not much of an infrastructure. So the sewage spills out continuously, and it washes up on beaches in the San Diego area, and the air is foul and disgusting. The river is horrendous. It's a huge environmental health issue that's been going on forever. Anyway, we're going to have Lee Zeldin on because he's had some breakthroughs with that story at the border, and also he's got the latest on the Palisades and Altadena rebuild. Lee Zeldin coming on in just a few minutes. You may be aware that Paramount is trying to merge with Warner Brothers Discovery. It's a $110 billion deal. And the federal government has approved the merger. But Rob Bonta, the idiot attorney general, is filed a lawsuit to block the merger. And, you know, and Bonta spends most of his days inside Gavin Newsom's rear end. I don't know if you know that, but he actually has a small apartment in there. And why you would lash out against the movie entertainment industry when production filming has dropped so drastically in Los Angeles. There's so many fewer jobs, and the entertainment industry is spread out to Georgia, New Jersey, New York, even the United Kingdom, Ireland, as well as Canada. And stupidly, Bonta is going out of his way to drive out Paramount. He's got this lawsuit. And finally, the Paramount CEO, David Ellison, told his top people last week that if Bonta doesn't stop it, he's got to come and at least negotiate, then he's going to move Paramount to Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, or another state. In fact, he's already told this to the Paramount board, and they've already signed off on the move. Bonta, in typical idiot progressive fashion, says, well, this is blackmail. No, this is negotiating, and he's got the leverage. You want to lose all the Paramount, Warner Brothers Discovery jobs to Georgia or Tennessee or Texas? Why wouldn't he do it? We just saw a similar story play out just a few years ago. There was a legislator named Lorena Gonzalez, who's now a union leader. Lorena Gonzalez and Elon Musk had this feud going because Musk found the COVID lockdown nonsense to be overbearing, overwhelming, interfering with his Tesla production. And he made a big stink about it. And Lorena Gonzalez, who really is a moron, tweeted one day, F Elon Musk. Musk responded, message received, and then moved a lot of the Tesla SpaceX operation to Texas. So tons of jobs, tons of revenue went to Texas. And then I don't know if you saw this, but he announced just a few days ago a $17 billion chip factory, 5 times larger than the world's current largest building, $17 billion. And it's going to be in Texas. It's called the Terafab building. It's going to create 3,000 new jobs. 3,000. This all could have been in California if not for Newsom's lockdown and Lorena Gonzalez's stupid tweet. Because this is what rich people do. This is why they're successful. They don't put up with people who have miniature brains like Gonzalez or Bonta. He just said, message received, we're out of here. Wow. Do you think that would have been a good boost for Southern California's economy? To have 3,000 high-tech jobs? And so now Ellison is saying the same thing. It's like, fine, we'll go. And Bonta's going, you can't do that. That's blackmail. Okay, watch. Lee Zeldin on next, the EPA Administrator. Deborah Mark, live, KFI 24-hour newsroom.
The LA Homeless Services Authority says an accounting glitch is to blame for nearly half of the increase in the city's homeless count. Record shows the downtown district's homeless population swelled last year by more than 800 people, but officials say that included 614 people who had already been filling shelter beds. The LA Times reports that a rough calculation suggests last year's citywide overall homelessness number would have still been higher, but by a rate of just under 1.9% instead of the recorded 3.4%. The news is brought to you by American Vision Windows. One of the biggest movie and TV studios is threatening to leave California over murder issues.
The Paramount Studios lot opened on Melrose in Hollywood in 1926, and it could soon be a wrap on its time in L.A. Paramount Skydance head David Ellison has told senior execs that he'll move out of the state if the deal to take over Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't close by the end of next month. That according to industry newsletter Puck. California Attorney General Rob Bonta, who is leading an antitrust lawsuit to block the merger, says the threat to leave is, quote, another attempt to blackmail the state into letting an illegal deal through. Jason Nathanson, KFI News.
Suspected burglars in northern LA County have been caught with technology capable of disrupting security systems.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says a crew was equipped with burglary tools, multiple license plates, and a Wi-Fi jammer. Wi-Fi jammers are capable of disrupting wireless communication signals and could be used to disable home surveillance systems. The crew was allegedly robbing a home in Santa Clarita when they were arrested last week. Officials didn't say whether the jammer was used in that robbery. Mark Mayfield, KFI News.
As Boyle Heights residents continue to fume over foul odors from rotted meat at a cold storage warehouse ravaged by fire, PETA is installing a billboard in the area urging people to go vegan. The animal rights group calls the odors a reminder that all meat is the decomposing corpse of an animal who felt pain and fear and didn't want to die. The owner of the warehouse says 90% of the food waste has been removed from the facility. Luigi Mangione, who's accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in 2024, was back in court for a pretrial hearing. His attorneys asked the judge to allow the trial to be broadcast live, but no decision was made. ABC's Peter Haralambos says the judge noted that more than 80 media organizations from around the world are covering the case and that public interest is intense.
It remains to be seen how the prosecutors and the defense lawyers are going to find a jury that's able to look at this case unbiased and render a fair verdict.
The judge adjourned court until September when jury selection is set to start. And the Washington Post says President Trump was secretly flown out of last month's NATO summit in Turkey on an alternate military plane because of an Iranian assassination threat. The operation involved a ruse where journalists and some White House staff believed they were on the same plane as Trump. After boarding Air Force One, Trump was secretly transferred to a smaller Air Force plane on an airport catering truck. The White House did not directly address the report, but issued a statement highlighting that it uses every tool at its disposal to address threats on the president. We're going to go back to the 405 next.
GiveMeTheVIN.com. This summer, you can sell your car in a hot minute. Why don't you try it? Enter your VIN number, get an offer fast. If GiveMeTheVIN.com's offer cannot beat CarMax, they're going to pay you $100. GiveMeTheVIN.com will get you your check on the spot. It's easy, it's fast at GiveMeTheVIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to mid 80s. Metro LA and the high desert. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and windy in the high desert. 80s to around 90 in the valleys. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low 80s inland OC. Upper 80s to low 90s and windy in the IE. Right now, 84 in Laguna Woods and 87 in Rancho Santa Margarita. We're going back to the 405 in West LA.
Cleanup continues here on that southbound side of Santa Monica Boulevard after an earlier car fire. Tow trucks arriving any moment if they haven't yet. And so we're almost getting things wrapped up here. Big delays for that southbound side of the 405. You're backing up out of the Sepulveda Pass away from just about Skirball Center and northbound slowing out of Culver City from Washington as you continue all the way to the 5 merge into Sylmar. It's also a tough drive along the 210 freeway eastbound out of Pasadena. It crowds up at Mountain and you remain on the brakes all the way into Irwindale. There's a wreck on the westbound side of the 210 at Irwindale Avenue, and that's loading the drive up away from Azusa Avenue. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
American Vision Windows. Summer's winding down, but there's time for one more upgrade. This August, American Vision Windows wants to help you finish your home projects before fall arrives. Listen to this closely. Pick any 2 of their most popular offers. You can get free expert installation, free sound package, free upgrade to Sun Matrix, or they'll pay your tax, or no interest, no payments for 18 months. Pick 2 of those, and you will then be on your way to stunning, energy-efficient windows. It's going to improve the comfort of your home, make your home that much more attractive, and lower your energy bills. And this will go on forever. With over 1 million windows installed, American Vision Windows has earned the trust of homeowners across California. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com. New customers only. Restrictions apply. You call or see the website for details. The offer ends August 31st. Call 888-771-2188. 888-771-2188.
Running a business is hard enough. Don't make it harder with dozens of apps that don't talk to each other. One for sales, another for inventory, a separate one for accounting. That's software overload. Odoo is the all-in-one platform that replaces them all. CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, HR, fully integrated and easy to use, and built to grow with your business. Thousands have already made the switch. Why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Silver is no longer just a commodity. It's a strategic resource. Demand is up and supply is tight. Experts expect prices to soar. Visit LearCapital.com for your free silver report. LearCapital.com. That's LearCapital.com.
If you're living with constant knee pain and you're dreading surgery, which you should, and you're looking at a long recovery, no fun, let me tell you about Hoag Orthopedic Institute. Their award-winning knee specialists are changing how knee pain is treated. They offer the most advanced, minimally invasive procedures for faster recovery, better movement, and the care is personalized using the most cutting-edge techniques, including robotic-assisted knee replacement, state-of-the-art cartilage restoration. You get up, get active, and you're going to move without missing months of your life. And they accept most PPO and Medicare insurance plans. So call 800-919-2000 or visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. That's H-O-A-G, HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. Locations throughout Southern California, proudly physician-owned. That's HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. Call 800-919-2000.
Tap into Happy Hour with half-priced pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
No required subscriptions, no trial periods, no surprise charges, no monthly fees. iHeartRadio is different. It's 100% free. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
Want more than just awareness for your business? An iHeartMedia partnership can help drive action through sweepstakes, ticket giveaways, listener contesting, and local media. Attach your business to music moments built to grow awareness, engagement, and leads. Get started today. Call 844-844-iHeart.
Experience, reputation, and trust matter. If you've been injured, opolaw.com.
Termites active? Call Pacific Coast Termite. No tenting, plus 10% off. Call 1-800-PACIFIC.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
KFI is in your ear and on your screen. Follow us now at KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. And we're on from 3 until 6. And we welcome the return of Lee Zeldin. He is the head of the Environmental Protection Agency. And he also has been the point man for the Trump administration on a number of things, including the Palisades fire recovery, and also some issue that's been going on for years and years. And it's this tremendous amount of sewage that is dumped by Mexico into the Tijuana River and fouls the beaches and the water and the air all along the border. And we're going to get Lee Zeldin on right now to talk about both those matters. How are you? Welcome back.
It's great to be with you.
Let me talk about the Palisades first. The federal government did an incredible cleanup, Army Corps of Engineers, really fast, getting rid of the debris, the contaminants. It seems that it's an extremely slow rebuilding process. There's less than 20% of the homes that have gotten permits. There's vast stretches that don't look much more different than, February. Is there any role the federal government can take in speeding this up?
Yeah, for sure. So, 2025, that first year of the recovery, the federal government was focused on federal things, federal equities. So the president mobilized EPA first to complete our hazardous material removal in 30 days. We got done in 28. So the Army Corps could come in for their phase 2 debris removal, which Army Corps completed 100 days, which you referenced. Small Business Administration came in. They gave out most of their disaster loans for all 2025 went towards fire victims. So that's an example of the federal government responding in that first year that in a way that we traditionally would. But at the 1 year mark, President Trump was looking at the amount of rebuilding that was done. And he decided, okay, let's see what we can do to help break through non-federal logjams. He asked me to take on this leadership role, which I was happy to do. I've come out and visited many times, and our team is involved in this on a daily basis. So a few things. One, on the insurance front, you saw insurance companies. By the way, some of them I was hearing great reports on. Other insurance companies I was hearing terrible reports on. I informed the president on everything, the good and the bad. He took to Truth Social and he lit up the insurance companies that were dragging their customers through the mud to produce paperwork that they don't have because their home was destroyed, and then offering an underpayment at the end of the day. So on the insurance front, he weighed in the way he did, which helped. But we also have been individually engaging with people who lost their homes, who contacted us. We engage with the insurance companies. And this is not something the Environmental Protection Agency has done before.
I was going to say, this is new territory here.
Yeah, so happy to do it. So that's been a way that we've been able to assist on the banking front. The president weighed in again to get banks to extend mortgage forbearance. You have people who they're paying rent on some other place while they still owe their mortgage on their home that no longer exists. So the president weighed in on Truth Social. We engage directly with the banks, and we've been putting out announcements to extend the mortgage forbearance. Again, something that the Environmental Protection Agency has ever done before. On the permitting front, we started to individually work cases. I was a state senator in New York during Superstorm Sandy. It kind of felt like constituent services from back in the day. So we had helped individuals get their permits through the process, which again, happy to do. We've never done before quite like this. And that's something that we continue to work on. So
let me ask you this, though.
A few examples.
A lot of the stuff that you're talking about, it does sound like local and state agencies should be involved. And I know you want to keep good relations with everybody in California and LA, but really, isn't this something that the state of California, the city of LA, the county of LA should have been handling? It's kind of weird that you have an agency which doesn't even cover these kind of issues, and you're making the breakthroughs.
Well, my role in this entire process is to help however possible. Quite frankly, that's our attitude. I personally witnessed being there right after the fires, one of the most, maybe the most apocalyptic scene that I've ever witnessed. I mean, that's including time spent, in Iraq with the military. So I don't want that to ever be a sight again anywhere in the United States. But seeing it was personal to me, even though I'm from, hundreds of miles away from New York. I just want to help. I mean, that's been my message to the residents. It's been my message to, the county supervisor, Catherine Barger in Altadena, for the Eden Fire area, to Mayor Bass for Palisades, Malibu. I even had Governor Newsom in my office here a couple months ago. And listen, there's a lot of different ways that, we disagree on pretty big things. And, but my message to the state, to the locals, to the local residents, I just want to help. That is my agenda. Like, full stop. Whatever I could possibly do to assist. And that's what we've been working on. And by the way, even if this is not something that you've ever heard the EPA do, come to us with your idea. If there's any way that we can assist, I will.
And how's Altadena doing? Because that gets so much less attention in the media. And I know personally some people there have really been struggling with nobody responding to any aspect of the emergency.
So I was in Altadena recently, and it was my first visit to the area where I saw a substantial increase in the amount of rebuilding. It was awesome to see. A lot of people are coming back. I was talking to one Altadena community leader who I was asking how much of the residents who lost their homes are going to return home. And I had no idea what the answer was. It was a very open-ended question. That person confidently said that they believe that's going to end up hitting 90%, which is a higher number than the estimates that I got back from the Palisades. It's actually, it was higher than I would have guessed. And that's pretty awesome. And as far as the permits getting out, one of the things that I noticed at the city level for the Palisades was that there's just so many different offices that are involved in the process, and the location in order to get your permit was moved earlier this year into the Palisades, as opposed to being a location outside of the Palisades. So, that helped as well. Altadena has a community center to help with the permits where everyone is under one house. That one-stop shopping for permitting is key. And I'll say one of the other issues as well has been, to get the builders there into the community and scaled up. When I was in Altadena, I spent some time with one builder who is building 40 homes. And, that decision that's been made over the course of the last several months for these different companies to just set up shop, like they'll design 4 or 5 different models to choose from. And and then all of a sudden, you have 40 customers in your building, those 4 or 5 models to scale all across Altadena. That's been big. But I will say that my last visit to Altadena was very refreshing. I saw a big increase in the amount of rebuilding due, but obviously still a lot more work ahead.
We're talking with Lee Zeldin, the administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency, about the Palisades and Altadena recovery. When we come back, we're going to talk to him about the Mexican sewage issue that has bedeviled the U.S. for decades. That's coming up after Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. LA City Council member Nithya Raman calling her pending removal of a homeless and housing committee politically motivated, and a former U.S. Marine is on his way home after being released from a prison in Russia. We'll have more at the top of the hour. We have a standoff going on the 60. We'll go to that next.
Inheriting a home can be overwhelming. You got repairs. You got the time it takes to get everything ready to sell. More trouble than it's worth. So call Seller's Advantage. Listen to a real customer. Quote, "We had an inheritance from a relative, and it would have taken us a lot of time, money, and headaches to get the property in shape to sell. I heard about Seller's Advantage from radio commercials, gave them a try. Their offer was reasonable. We accepted it, and they took care of all the physical effort and legal complexities. We closed within 3 weeks. I highly recommend them. No matter what the reason for selling, call Seller's Advantage. 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com for a free, no obligation cash offer.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658, Providence Realty DRE number 01915212.
From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. So we did have a CHP chase going on the 60, and they're just arresting the guy. But I'm sure Angel can let you know what the traffic situation is there.
It's on the eastbound side of the 60 at Vineyard, right at the off-ramp, and it is a code 4. They have the suspect in custody. But you know what? Mainline lanes do not appear to be blocked, but we are seeing quite the backup all the way out of Chino, getting away from the 71. Little slowing on that westbound side as well. You got to check out all the action. And westbound slowing, loading up in Ontario from just about Haven Avenue back to the scene of this end of pursuit. Let's also take a look at Pasadena, eastbound 210. And that's slowing down away from just about the 134 freeway. Delays and stretches all the way to the 15. And let's look at that 15 in Ontario. Both sides are slow moving between the 60 and the 10. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Infinity Bank. Most banks give you a call center. Infinity Bank gives you the president, Victor Guerrero, to speak directly to. Call 657-223-1000 or visit infinity.bank.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
The Bears say safety Kobe Bryant has undergone knee surgery. He'll be out 4 to 6 months. They hopefully can return if they make the postseason. The Chiefs' Rashee Rice says the 30-day jail sentence he served for violating his parole was a learning experience. CBS Sports says Ross Tucker will be in the number 2 booth with Ian Eagle as J.J. Watt gets moved up to the top crew with Jim Nantz during Tony Romo's leave of absence. I'm Frank Aaron.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by the Blizzard Double Flip Deal at Dairy Queen. The only thing better than grabbing a Blizzard treat on a warm, sunny day would be snagging a second one for just 99 cents with the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. It's buy one Blizzard treat, get another one for just 99 cents only when you order on the DQ app. DQ. Happy tastes good. For limited time at participating U.S. locations.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
You bet I'm worth more.
We completely agree. At GiveMeTheVin.com, you are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more for good cars that give me the VIN, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if we don't beat a deal from Carvana or CarMax, we'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
help your kid excel in math and love it at brilliant.org.
In this edition of the Marketer's Report, Scott Hinchelwood, a director at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, talks about the power of live events.
We've been working with iHeart now going back to your beginning, and we have over 60 iHeart station partners out there telling our story, and it really helps drive that St. Jude mission home and share our patients and share our mission.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live events, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Sprained wrist, ankle twist, broken thumb, can't make a fist, busted knee, surgery, that patch of ice you didn't see.
Where pain starts, Jernavix suzetrigine begins. Jernavix is a non-opioid 50 milligram prescription tablet for adults with moderate to severe acute pain that reduces pain signals before they reach the brain.
Tendon tear, nose repair, tripping on that broken stair, dislocation, operation, moped crash while on vacation.
Do not take Jernavix with CYP3A inhibitors. Avoid use with grapefruit or liver problems, as these may increase side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medicines if you are pregnant or breastfeeding. Jernavix may make certain medicines and birth control less effective. Side effects include itching, muscle spasms, rash, and elevated muscle enzymes.
Joint displacement, knee replacement, fell on marbles in the basement, ladder slip, broken hip, that rock climb where you lost your grip.
To learn more about Jernavix, ask your doctor. Call 1-833-589-PAIN or visit jernavix.com.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a brand new podcast. Heartbreak, hope, and a whole lot of what would you do? Stream now on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. The John Kobylt Show. We're talking with Lee Zeldin, the Environmental Protection Agency Administrator. And we have to now talk about the sewage issue between Mexico and the U.S. that has gone on for decades. There's been a tremendous amount of sewage that's been dumped into the Tijuana River Channel, and it is washed up along the Southern California coast, the beaches in Mexico. It is foul-smelling. It is disgusting, and it's closed beaches, polluted the water and the air. And this gone on such a long time, and nobody seemed to care. Can you describe first quickly what has caused this huge sewage flow all these years, and what are you doing now to fix it once and for all?
Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for decades, and the two biggest things working in tandem, one is increasing population in Tijuana and not having the infrastructure to handle that population. Those are the two fundamental issues. So essentially, there is substantial amount of Mexican side infrastructure that needs to get built to handle the millions of gallons per day of raw sewage that moves around Tijuana. And if you don't have the infrastructure to handle the tens of millions of gallons per day that are flowing, then it'll go somewhere. And unfortunately, for decades, the answer has been it's been flowing into the United States and into waters impacting our coasts. So my first visit there was last April of 2025. I've been there many times since. In July, a year ago, I went to Mexico City, signed a memorandum of understanding between the United States and Mexico, where they were agreeing to obligate money that they had previously committed to, but they hadn't done yet. So getting that money obligated was key. We established a 100-day timeline to pressure test all of the projects that were previously agreed to see where we can reduce the timeline. That ended up yielding, in the 100 days that followed, a lot of efficiencies in that timeline. But the third piece, maybe the most important piece, although they're all important, is that we added a whole bunch of additional Mexico side projects, because the way I assessed the situation in April of 2025 is that we had at best like a 70% solution or an 80% solution. So the July MOU was the 100% permanent solution, the infrastructure to deal with the population growth, not the population of 2025 or 2026, but looking way into the future. At the end of 2025 in December, a binding new what's called minute was agreed to between the United States and Mexico to implement the memorandum of understanding. Projects to be completed in 2026 and 2027. There's one project in 2028. Mexico needs to complete everything that they agreed to. And the good news is that, we're over a year now since the MOU, and all of the timelines that all the commitments have been met. I mean, there's nothing that Mexico has been dragging its feet on that they committed to. The only thing that causes great frustration for the residents of Southern California, for great reason, is it's not done yet. Until it's all built, the way we assess it, we need all of these Mexico side projects done in order to be able to stop the flow.
Now, are they paying for this all, or are we throwing in money?
There was no new U.S. funding involved with what was agreed to in the July MOU or last December's new minute. That did not include any new U.S. funding. Now, there was prior U.S. funding that was committed. There's something called BWIP, Border Water Infrastructure Program funding. What we did in the Trump administration last year was leveraging that money. We withheld BWIP funding and told Mexico that we would need them to start work on some particular projects on the Mexico side, that once they start, and we're seeing the rest of everything we were just talking about moving, then we would release that BWIP funding. That wasn't new money that was previously obligated.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you finally get them to move after decades of not doing anything? Like what?
Well, I would say there's a few things. I mean, that was one, leveraging that money. But I would also say, so you have a new administration came in on the Mexico side in Sheinbaum. You had the new administration come in on the United States side with President Trump. And there's a lot of issues on the table, including USMCA and a lot more. This is an issue that the Sheinbaum administration views as clearly Mexico's responsibility. They view this as something that would be that should be the easiest to reach an agreement on with the Trump administration. This was the first agreement between the Sheinbaum-Trump relationship, and this is something from the Mexico side, caused by Mexico. It's their environmental damage. They know that it's their responsibility to fix, and we heavily lean into this. At the EPA level, but also at the International Boundary Water Commission, at the State Department, right up into the White House, interacting with Sheinbaum's team. So this has been every level of government on both sides, with President Trump personally engaged and leading the effort. And with these other more difficult negotiations, perceived to be more difficult by the Mexicans, they decided that this was the one agreement that they could and should punch over the finish line quickly. And like early on, there was this inventory of carrot and stick, and a lot of people who are massively frustrated because it's been going on for decades. I mean, they just wanted to see a stick get used. I got to tell you, like at this entire time over the course of the last year and a half, all of our engagement with Mexican government officials has been very positive in getting the agreements, that not just the agreements on paper that I referenced, adding the new projects, getting the Mexican money obligated, getting the timelines pressure tested. But we monitor progress on a daily basis. We have the ability to see that Mexico is actually doing what they said that they were going to do, and they have been doing it. And like, what's the point of getting stuck in neutral, just trying to take inventory of a stick and just beating people over it, when you could just directly engage with them and they're continuing to get this stuff built. The problem is it requires a bit more patience of people who are already fed up, and they should be. Folks, like, you have to wait for them. There are all sorts of Mexico side projects that are getting built. You have to wait until they're finished, which is going to happen not just across this year And all across 2027, there's one project too that's even into 2028. Like all of that stuff needs to get done.
Yeah. Lee Zeldin, thank you for coming on.
Happy to.
All right. It's good talking with you. Lee Zeldin, and he's the administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency. We got Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Political punishment. I'm Deborah Mark live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LA City Council member Nithya Raman is calling her pending removal as chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee politically motivated. She says she called for an audit of LA's homelessness programs, and now she's being removed as chair of the committee. The City Council approved a plan to split the Housing and Homelessness Committee into two separate committees to oversee a range of government functions. Raman is challenging LA Mayor Bass in the November election. The death toll from the earthquake in Colombia has passed 200. The quake has also damaged more than 1,600 homes, and rescue crews are trying to find people under the rubble. Canadian real estate agent Daryl Popp was celebrating his birthday in the country and says he took a video on his phone when the shaking started.
I turned around and I saw the cabinet smash and I heard people running through the hallways and doors slamming. I was like, okay, maybe it's time to stop this video and get out of the building.
The magnitude 7.4 quake hit in Western Colombia. A federal judge has ruled against President Trump's executive order to create a federal voter list and directly involve the U.S. Postal Service in election operations. The district court judge had already stopped the order that Trump signed in March when she sided with Democratic state attorneys general in June to stop the core parts of Trump's order from taking effect. Former U.S. Marine Robert Gilman is on his way home after being released from a Russian prison. Kieran Ramsey, the chief investigative officer of Global Reach, a nonprofit that represents Gilman's family, says at least 5 other Americans held in Russia are being wrongfully detained.
All of the families are asking this morning, as this news broke, well, what does this mean for my loved one?
Gilman was visiting Russia when he was accused of kicking a police officer. He's been held for the last 4 years. Cash for catching animal abusers. LA is putting together a new tip line.
A $5,000 reward is being offered for tips that lead to the prosecution of animal abusers. That announcement from the office of First Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Assaley in Los Angeles. They're looking for anyone with evidence of animal abuse to email a new tip line set up with the FBI. They want photos, videos, any proof people might have. The email address can be found online. The move comes after a bunch of high-profile stories of animals being abused by homeless people around the city. Jason Nathanson, KFI News.
And the LA County Board of Supervisors has approved a motion calling for a study on the feasibility of establishing a county office of gender equity based on UN principles aimed at eliminating discrimination against women. We're going to go to the 5 next.
Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, you're running a business. For a lot of brokers, that's the finish line. Give them a handshake. They get a commission. They're done. You may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year. And so do the gaps in your coverage and the risk that you take. Super Sure is the way to go. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, the CFO, or the HR manager, it's too complicated to buy a policy online. Super Sure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state, for your business insurance and employee benefits. And you get year-round support for you and your team. At Super Sure, you have fine print facts, a tool to translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's actually covered, a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth, so you know how much insurance you need. Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. Supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to mid 80s, Metro LA and the high desert. We do have a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and windy again in the high desert. 80s to around 90 in the valleys. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low 80s inland OC, upper 80s to low 90s and windy in the IE. Right now, 85 in Tustin, 72 Laguna Beach, 89 in Chatsworth. It's 93 in Van Nuys. The KFI financial update brought to you by Supersure. Supersure.com, one super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed down 184, S&P 500 down 25, NASDAQ down 160. Going to a crash on the 5 at Water Village.
It's almost on the northbound side, coming right up on the 2, and that's where a big rig and a car got into it. The right lane appears to be blocked, and that 5 northbound, it's going to be a tough drive. Overall slowing, backing up out of Boyle Heights, coming off of the 60, but it's pretty dense through that stretch. The southbound side of the 5 loads up out of Griffith Park from just about Colorado all the way back to the scene of this crash, and we're slowing ahead off of the 60 as you travel towards the 605. North 605 slows in Norwalk from the 105 freeway all the way to the 10, and that earlier police pursuit end on the 60 eastbound at the Vineyard off-ramp. We're still seeing quite the backup here, almost from the 71 out of Chino. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Termites are one of those things we tend to put off. E. coli is here to protect your most expensive investment, your home, your family, and the environment. You might have heard of Sue Freeze, the termite lady. She's the owner of E. coli Termite and Pest Control. Now, they've been protecting Southern California homes for more than 40 years. So if you have a termite problem, that's who you want in your corner. E. coli offers eco-friendly treatments that are tough on termites, but gentle on kids, pets, and anyone who's sensitive to chemicals. And if you're not planning on selling your house, they'll come out and inspect your home for free. And with all the heat we've had over this last month here in Southern California, it's perfect breeding grounds for termites. E. coli has been recognized as one of the top pest control companies in North America by Pest Control Technology magazine. So if you suspect a termite problem, you must act fast. So call E. coli at 1-800-332-BUGS. 1-800-332-2847. 1-800-332-BUGS.
Tap into happy hour with half-price pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new iHeart podcast. Real-life drama with real-life consequences and advice that might just save the day. Hear it now on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival
presented by Capital One
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena.
Stream it live on Disney Plus and Hulu. And keep listening for the next chance to win your way to be there.
We all love the idea of whiter teeth. The sensitivity that can come from whitening treatment, not so much. Sensodyne Clinical White actively whitens your teeth without the wince. Try Sensodyne Clinical White today. Proud partner of the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Can't find AM 640. We're stimulating talk radio. Hey there. John Kobylt Show. And we're on from 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. Thank Lee Zeldin for coming on. He runs the EPA, and he's been the point man to handle the Palisades and Altadena rebuilds from a federal perspective, whatever the feds can do. And if you heard him go through the long list of things, basically he's acting like the way your local state legislator should be acting, or the mayor or the governor. So you got to give Lee Zeldin a lot of credit. What he was listing there are the kind of things that your local politicians ought to be handling, and they're not. Now, we're also going to have Dr. Oz coming on the show after 5 o'clock to talk more about the fraud that they're unraveling. You know, this is your money. This is your tax money here in California, but it involves a federal Medicaid, Medicare program. And we're going to discuss that, among other things, with Dr. Oz. So the federal government is stepping in repeatedly because of the failures of Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, and all the rest of them. And another federal official that is filling the breach is Bill Asaley, who's the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District here in California. And I saw that his involvement with the LAPD. They had another raid in MacArthur Park to clean out more drug addicts and more foul activities that are going on in the park. Also, he announced today a $5,000 reward and a new FBI tip line for the successful prosecution of criminals who violate the PACT Act. PACT, P-A-C-T, stands for Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture. Now, we've been talking a lot about what's going on at Skid Row. I found out yesterday it's also going on in North Hollywood. And these are dogs being tortured, killed, experimented with, injecting drugs to see what happens by the mental patients and the drug addicts that Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom will not take off the street. So Bill Asaley, Trump signed this law back in 2019. It criminalizes engaging in animal abuse in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce and making animal crushing videos. I don't want to know what that is. It depicts obscene animal abuse. There wasn't a law against that until 2019. So there's the LA Animal Crimes Tip Line, and you can email the FBI at it. It's a long email address. You probably should look it up. And if you have photographs, videos, dates, times, locations, a description of who's committing the crimes, then they have an animal abuse task force in the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I don't know if the Skid Row situation could fall under Asaley's jurisdiction or not, but it's worth investigating. I mean, if Daniel Gus, the journalist, he's also an animal activist, and he promised Asaley publicly today, put this on X, I'm going to report much to you. Animal cruelty, embezzlement of donations, wire fraud, and other crimes perpetrated against the animals of Los Angeles. Two of these perpetrators are LA City Pets. I guess that's the LA City Pet Shelter System and LAPD headquarters. Animal cruelty by these government personnel is not being investigated by Nathan Hochman because it requires government officials to file charges on themselves and their own. And Gus has been beating this drum for a long time, and he's going to turn over whatever evidence he's collected over to Asaley. It used to be people were publicly very passionate in great numbers on protecting animals. And then something happened. And nobody is forcing Bass and Raman to clean up Skid Row and stop the murder and torture and experimentation on the dogs. And it's so weird. I can't understand it. Most times I understand why some public figures do what they do. They have different priorities, different interests, different agendas. I don't understand this at all. This is just really sick animal cruelty. This is the darkest aspect of human nature. But I'm going to keep banging on this thing because I don't care about all these stupid public relations crisis management people and their theory of like, well, it'll blow over. It'll blow over. For a long, long time, politicians in California and LA think it's going to blow over. And Ken and I decided our philosophy was it never blows over. We're just never going to stop. Because they don't know how to deal with that. They know how to deal with news cycles. They know how to make something go away in 24, 72 hours or a week. But they don't know what to do when you keep whacking them over the head. And Bass and Raman and the police chief, Jim McDonnell, should repeatedly get whacked over allowing this kind of psychotic animal cruelty to go on. And police have made it clear that they're under orders from Karen Bass that if it's the homeless people doing it, then you got to let them go. They've made that absolutely clear. One more animal thing. LA Times, there's a woman named Leila Seidman. She actually wrote the following story. It's about Jackie the eagle. Jackie was more than a bald eagle. She was a reality star, a devoted mother, and very particular about where sticks should go in her big bear nest. nest, all captured on a popular live stream that has drawn legions of fans to watch her and her mate Shadow. Now Jackie is gone. Are you a Jackie super fan? We want to hear how Jackie and her Eagle family have touched you. And they actually printed out a 2-question form online, and you could fill in the boxes and describe how Jackie and her Eagle family have touched you. What Jackie's meant to you.
Did you fill it out already?
No, I did not. I just thought I'd tell you about it in case you wanted to express your feelings and sympathies. And people are going to do it.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait.
I have a Jackie story coming up.
I can't wait to read them. That'll definitely be guaranteed material.
And you'll do it
here on the show
in a positive way?
I'm
not condescending?
Yeah, no, in a sensitive way, because you know how sensitive I am.
Oh, yeah.
There's a mansion in Encino that has been taken over by lunatic party ragers. And everyone in the neighborhood is furious. I'll tell you about it when we come back. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. Paramount is threatening to start pulling out of California October 1st. And efforts are underway to officially remember Jackie the Bald Eagle in California. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour, going to the 405 next.
Listen to this. That's my phone. No spam calls, no spam texts. I get silence. Your phone? Probably not so quiet. And here's why. Data brokers are selling your personal information like it's on clearance. Your phone number, home address, email, family members' names, political affiliations, where you bank. Those scammers blowing up your phone did not get lucky randomly dialing. They bought your information, and they'll keep buying it over and over until you make it stop. I made it stop with Incogni's help. Incogni, I-N-C-O-G-N-I, automatically removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers and people search sites. Incogni sends the legal removal requests, and they follow up and keep monitoring so your information stays off those lists. If scammers can't find you, they can't target you. If spammers can't find you either, they can't bother you. Get 60% off now at incogni.com/KFI. That's incogni.com/KFI.
From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. It is slow on the 405 in the Sepulveda Pass.
It's that southbound side where delays load up at Getty Center. You remain on the brakes ahead all the way into Long Beach, looking better by the time you make your way towards Palo Verde. That northbound side of the 405 slowing out of Irvine from the 133 freeway. Pretty heavy ahead all the way to Beach Boulevard in Huntington Beach. Slowing ahead from that 22 merge, staying crowded towards the 710. It's also tough out of let's call that Griffith Park. No, let's head out of Burbank, South 5, away from Alameda as you travel all the way to the 605. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Infinity Bank. Most banks give you a call center. Infinity Bank gives you the president, Victor Guerrero, to speak directly to. Call 657-223-1000 or visit infinity.bank.
This is Sarah Spain with the latest from iHeart Women's Sports.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
For the second straight year, the Denver Onyx are champions of the Women's Elite Rugby League. On Sunday, the Onyx defeated the Bay Breakers 24-17 at the WER Legacy Cup in Glendale, Colorado. The Onyx were led by Allie Cunningham, who scored 2 tries and was named player of the match. For more women's sports stories, be sure to subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcast.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is sponsored by CummonsRecall.com.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummonsRecall.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys, office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
GiveMeTheVin.com is paying top dollar for your car, truck, sports car, exotic. I told my buyers, let's get them bought. Right now is the time to go.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Help your kid excel in math and love it at brilliant.org.
Getting you back to your life pursuit. Hogue Orthopedic Institute. Call 1-800-919-2000.
Free shouldn't come with a catch. With iHeartRadio, it doesn't. No monthly fees, no trial periods. Radio, music, podcasts. Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Need a vaccine before school starts? Vaughn's, Albertsons, and Pavilion's pharmacies make it easy to get your back-to-school vaccinations. Free with most insurance, and walk-ins are welcome. Restrictions apply. See the pharmacy for details. Make an appointment online at Vaughn's or Albertsons.com/vaccines.
Every day, Californians work hard to build a better future. They deserve leaders who work just as hard for them, not for special interests. In the Assembly, Juan Carrillo is delivering solutions for the high desert, building more affordable housing, investing in good-paying jobs, and lowering costs for hardworking families. Because California deserves problem solvers who deliver real solutions on the issues that matter most. Paid for by Grow California.
Training camp is open. The countdown to kickoff is on.
And it's time to get in the game.
iHeartRadio is the official home of the NFL Podcast Network.
We're obviously incredibly excited if you just want to talk about defense.
Get the insight before it's a headline with NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal.
Thank you to Sean McVay.
Chasing a fantasy title, the Late Round Fantasy Football Podcast helps you draft like a genius.
Hopefully it helps you guys out the most.
This
is what football sounds like.
Download the iHeartRadio app, search NFL, and press play.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, Dr. Jim Keeney shares with us what actual doctors think of Mr. President Doctor's executive order on childhood vaccines. And that's coming up tomorrow morning at 8:30 on the next Bill Handel Show.
John, are you okay in there? I think there might be something wrong with John's headphones. So he's wandering around. No, not his headphones, his microphone. So don't worry. John is not going away. Oh, John, I hear something. So I think that microphone is okay. Oh, here you are. All right. He's connecting the microphone. This is behind the scenes of the John Kobylt Show. All right.
You're getting a good view of this on YouTube right now.
Yeah. He's screwing
Hold on, I'll go in there.
of the microphone together. Now Eric's going to go in and help him. Yeah, this is exciting stuff, John. I mean, you know, my wish has always been to talk vegan on the John Kobylt Show. I guess I can do that if John is not going to come on. Oh, no. Now he's putting the headphones on.
I got this microphone working over
All
here
right.
on the side.
I was just going to do vegan talk, John.
That's what I was afraid of.
I know.
That's why I was so nervous.
I know. I saw.
I don't understand. I see the back plug to the microphone is falling out, and I don't know how that possibly could have happened.
It took Eric 1 second.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It took Eric 1 second to put it in there.
And he hops on one leg.
Yes. John, you're really technical like I am. I've done stuff like that too, so I can't make fun of you.
This stuff would have normally happened and nobody would have even noticed, right? Except
I know.
Now we're on YouTube Live. I couldn't play. I must have pulled it out.
Yeah, you did.
Did I have a fit in the last segment?
No.
Because sometimes I have fits and my arms start waving.
I didn't notice. Y'all good?
Yeah, now I am.
Okay, good.
This is why my wife has workmen screwing light bulbs in our house.
She's smart.
You could see?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want me standing on a ladder reaching up to turn a ceiling bulb in.
You will electrocute yourself or you'll fall off the ladder.
Probably both.
Yeah.
I'll electrocute myself and then hit the ground.
Yeah.
Which would then start a fire. And,
oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
If it happens again, just remember the male part goes into the female part.
You know, I used to have trouble with that too.
God, John.
That's TMI.
Yeah, exactly.
How does this work?
All right, moving on.
Spencer Pratt posted something today. I hate to do this to you, Derek. Do you have the clip we played yesterday from that national DSA woman, the overfed lady? And she,
I'll grab it.
Yeah. She couldn't explain her concept of taxing the hell out of the rich. And, she goes on these national political shows and makes absolutely no sense. I forgot what's the name of this lady.
Megan Romer.
Okay. She's like the co-chair of the National Democratic Socialists of America and the top editor at the New Yorker, David Remick, asked her this.
But we do believe in taxing the hell out of millionaires. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does taxing the hell out of them mean?
I don't have like a solid, but I think.
But shouldn't you? If you're the co-chair, of the DSA, shouldn't you be more specific than just taxing the hell out of something? What exactly do you mean?
So again, it's democracy, right? And we have to look at what we need to spend and what we need. We don't want to depend on the existence of millionaires because that means people are still getting exploited. So, we need to look at what we need to pay for in the interim, what sort of tax base we need for that to happen, and then and build from there.
These are the people who want to take over the country, the DSA crowd. Well, this is Nithya Raman. She's DSA LA. Well, as Pratt says, this is her political partner, who you're going to hear in a minute. Her name's Frances Gill. She was on with Conan Nolan from NBC4. And Conan Nolan asked, Dr. Frances Gill? She has a doctorate?
An MD.
An MD? And she was prattling about the DSA stance on defunding the police. Listen to this clip.
Your policy agenda on law enforcement is to defund police, ultimately to get rid of police departments, correct?
Well, what I would say is that we're dramatically overspending on police right now.
I understand. Yeah. The goal is to defund the police departments so we don't need them in the future.
I think it's what we really want to see is a horizon where folks are not reliant on armed enforcement to meet our public safety needs.
Right. But it says defund police on the website. That's your goal. And also to get rid of prisons and jails, correct?
Yes.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
What
absolutely.
Would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now, which is that we're spending in absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing, and we're not spending money on things that actually make people safe and feel safe, which is things like actually well-lit streets. The streetlights in Los Angeles, everybody agrees it's a huge problem. Things like mental health care and substance use treatment. So things that drive people to commit crimes and to that make our society less safe. We're not doing anything about the root causes.
Listen to her
and
babble
instead, we're
now.
funneling money into
the root causes,
into the police.
Well, Conan Nolan, he did it right there. This is what they should do with every politician. Bass and Nithya Raman should be treated like this because they also spout nonsense. But this, he just said, well, if my daughter's raped and there's no police and there's no prison or jails, who's going to catch her? Where are you going to, who's going to catch him and where are you going to put him? I don't like these hypotheticals. No, really, women get raped every day. It's not a hypothetical. No police, no jails, no prisons. And she's a doctor. And she works with Nithya Raman in the DSA. This is Nithya Raman's belief system, too. Nithya Raman's just not talking about it out loud. She believes in the same thing. Got more coming up. Deborah Mark, live, KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Paramount is threatening to start pulling out of California October 1st unless the state agrees to settlement talks over its proposed merger with Warner Brothers Discovery. CEO David Ellison, according to multiple media reports, is considering moving the company's headquarters and, over 5 years, most studio jobs to another state. California Attorney General Bonta released a statement calling the threat blackmail. Bonta is leading a 12-state lawsuit seeking to block the $110 billion merger on antitrust grounds. The news is brought to you by Sellers Advantage. More than 200 people are dead after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake rocked Western Colombia. The country's president has declared a national disaster with destruction reported in multiple cities. ABC's Faith Abube says in the city of Cali, at least 20 buildings collapsed.
Rescuers using their bare hands and buckets to scoop debris as they search for any signs of life.
Colombian officials say it was the country's strongest earthquake this century. Voters in South Carolina are at the polls to determine who will be the Republican nominee for Senate. When Lindsey Graham died last month, South Carolina's governor appointed Graham's sister Darlene to serve out the remainder of his term, and she's facing challenges from 10 candidates in the Republican primary. Voter Yolanda McKnight says it's an important election.
U.S. Senator Graham held a very high position in the country, so this position hopefully will solidify us a great position in the state of South Carolina.
The winner will face Democratic candidate Dr. Annie Andrews. And efforts are underway to officially remember Jackie the Bald Eagle in California.
The bald eagle represents freedom, strength, resilience, and the American spirit. And that was Jackie.
California State Senator Tony Strickland is spearheading an effort to declare September 4th as California Wildlife Day in remembrance of Jackie the Bald Eagle. Strickland told me on Wake Up Call there's not a lot of time, so they're moving fast.
We're going to try to get this resolution passed by the end of session, Monday, August 31st.
He says Jackie gave us a connection between people and wildlife, and he too spent time watching the Big Bear Bald Eagle cam. Jackie was born in and lived her entire life in Big Bear. She died yesterday at the age of 14. Amy King, KFI News.
We are going to the 101 next.
If you're looking to sell your home, call Sellers Advantage. They're going to make you a cash offer. No need for repairs. They can close in days, they buy with cash, and they might offer you a $10,000 advance to help move. Go read the reviews online. Call for a no-obligation offer, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Sellers Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Sellers Advantage.
DRE number 01961658, Providence Realty, DRE number 01915212.
Southland weather from KFI. Partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to mid 80s. Metro LA and the high desert. There's a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and windy in the high desert. 80s to around 90 in the valleys. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low 80s inland OC. Upper 80s to low 90s and windy in the IE. Right now 80 in San Juan Capistrano and 86 in Stanton. Slow on the 101 in Calabasas.
It's that southbound side, and that's where the drive really starts to fill in, getting away from Lost Hills. You're on the brakes and stretches all the way to the 170, 134 split and ahead in Hollywood from Sunset into downtown Los Angeles. Very slow out of Culver City, North 405, away from Washington as you travel towards Nordhoff and North Hills, and then on approach to that 5 merge into Sylmar. Still tough in Pasadena. We're starting on the westbound side of the 210. Delays leaving Sierra Madre. There's a crash ahead at Lake that they're clearing out of lanes. Eastbound slowing, heavy in stretches, leaving the 134 freeway. Another wreck ahead in Irwindale that was on the westbound sides, keeping that eastbound side very slow moving to just about Irwindale Avenue. And we're also heading out to Corona, South 15, slowing from the 91 all the way to El Cerrito Road. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Smile Tunes to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit SmileTunes.com and get out of the doghouse today.
Hey, it's Conway here for Cars for Kids. We've donated 2 vehicles to Cars for Kids, and man, was it easy.
Cars for Kids has been around for 30 years, and they know what they're doing. I recently saw firsthand one of their summer programs going on right now where they have over 1,400 kids. I saw hundreds of kids in the camp, and they couldn't thank Cars for Kids enough for making this incredible opportunity possible. So when you donate a car, you're helping real kids thrive this summer. CarsForKids.org. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS, Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K.
After a major accident, one question comes to mind. What happens next? That's where Wilshire Law Firm comes in. With over 100 attorneys, we've helped recover more than $3 billion for our clients. Let the firm that's been recognized as #1 in personal injury settlements fight for the compensation you deserve. That's what happens next. For a free consultation 24/7, call Wilshire Law Firm, 1-800-ABCDEFG. Wilshire Law Firm won more top 100 personal injury settlements in 2024 than any other law firm in California, as reported by TopVerdict.com. Wilshire Law Firm is in LA.
Worried about what your breath smells like after coffee, lunch, drinks, or a night out? That's why we created Zellman's, the breath mint for grown-ups. Zellman's is not available in stores, so go to Zellmans.com. That's ZELMINS.com and use code SAVE for 15% off your first order.
If you run a business in this community, you know what a huge moment back to school is. And that's why you should join iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher program. Celebrating local educators throughout August, it's a great way for your business to connect with families with a message your next customers already care about. In fact, 85% of consumers say when a brand supports teachers, they want to support that brand. Get your business into the back-to-school conversation today. Call 844-844-IHEART. That's 844-844-IHEART.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
This August, choose any 2 offers from American Vision Windows. Give them a call or visit the website today.
If you haven't had a termite inspection in the last 3 years, don't wait for costly damage. Call Pacific Coast Termite for a free termite inspection from a licensed technician. If you have termite activity, we have the right treatment. No tent, no poisonous gas, no move out. Orange oil treatment will have minimal disruption at home with tenants or your business. Get 10% off, a 2-year warranty, and 90 days same as cash. OAC. Serving all of SoCal. Call 800-PACIFIC. PacificCoastTermite.com. Some restrictions apply.
Want up to $25,000 in free silver? When you make a qualifying purchase through Golden Crest Metals, you can receive up to $25,000 in real silver added to your account. Call 888-447-7857 now for your free information kit. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. Not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk. Free silver offers a 10% bonus in silver on qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. $10,000 minimum purchase required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credited to customer account. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6, and then after 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. I don't know if I mentioned today we're on live on YouTube. Well, we're live on YouTube and live on X. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. Subscribe, become a member. We're here every day. And you can follow us at John Kobylt Radio. Oh, yeah, live stream on Thursday at 11 in the morning. Oh, Thursday's going to be a weird day. We're going to do a live stream at 11 in the morning. We only have 1 hour of live radio between 3 and 4 because the Los Angeles Chargers have their first preseason game, and coverage starts at 4 o'clock here on KFI. So apparently we're all disposable. We're not needed. So anyway, we're going to give you a bonus live stream hour from 11 to 12. All right. Now, I mentioned this before. I wanted to give you the details. There's if you live in any kind of a neighborhood, this can happen in Los Angeles because no laws are enforced. None of them. You could sacrifice dogs, barbecue them on the street, and the police won't touch you. Especially, if you tell them you're homeless, then you have special protection. These are not homeless people, though. This is Encino. This is a massive house. It's a big mansion, 8,100 square feet. It's called the Encino Royal Palace. That's how it's advertised on homes.com. In fact, it's described as an entertainer's paradise with storybook balconies, a 12-car garage, It's like having your own hotel. 6 bedrooms, 6.5 baths, and like I said, 8,100 square feet. About the size of your hilltop mansion.
I was going to say it's a teeny, tiny bit larger than your
But
palace.
in Encino, whatever psycho owns this place rents it out to rage parties. Eric, what's the difference between a rave party and a rage party?
A rage party and a rave is like electronic dance music and techno and probably drugs like ecstasy and Molly and
that I
MDMA.
knew. This is a rage party.
A rage party is probably just a big party is sometimes called a rager.
I see. All right.
And so it's probably just a big rager.
All right. Well, it says here on a recent Saturday night in Encino, a group of teens and young adults guzzled down buzz balls in a Ralph's parking lot. Then they went to the party. They boarded a shuttle bus next to Crespi High School, which took them to this multi-million-dollar mansion in the hills. An events company promised a night of partying and the appearance of, you know who was coming? A social media influencer.
Who was it?
It doesn't say.
Oh.
I can't find it. No, it doesn't say. There is an Instagram account called Rage Parties, 90,000 followers. And they call it an influencer mansion party. It was in Encino. Actually, the address they gave was the Encino Ralph's. And then everybody got together there and parked in the big Ralph's parking lot and then made their way up to the mansion. A video posted by one of the influencers promoting the event showed young partiers in a massive home taking shots in a circle. Now, they spoke to a neighbor named Orrin Harrell. He's lived in the neighborhood 6 years. He says the house has been a nightmare for years. They have these regular rage parties through this influencer mansion website.
Do you want to go to their party Friday or Saturday night?
Is there one?
Yeah, Friday night it's a rodeo theme and Saturday night it's a stoplight theme.
So they do this twice a week on weekends?
Maybe more.
And they abuse the neighbors. Rebecca Shakib. She was a neighbor. She actually developed the home and sold it to its current owner. Well, Rebecca drove onto the lot and went inside to see what was going on. And she was chased out. I got in my car and they came and surrounded me and started rocking the car. They kept calling me a white Karen. It's kind of an odd insult. They had security guards at the door who tried to tell people they couldn't park on the street. A group of girls in their early 20s and late teens were told they couldn't enter unless they came up on the shuttle. So you had to go back to the Ralph's parking lot. And, of course, the city does nothing. This home has been cited going back to 2014. Chronic nuisance activity. So everybody fills out a bunch of paperwork, and in Karen Bass's Los Angeles, nobody does anything. And it's supposed to be a quiet street. And they're constantly dealing with this nonsense. They call the property owner, but whatever psycho owns the property, complaining to him doesn't do any good. Rage Parties is the account that hosts the parties. Not only there, but elsewhere. The mansion has been cited 3 times just in the last year for excessive noise and loud and unruly gatherings. And the city does nothing to stop it. Can you imagine I got a pretty fair idea of what these people in that neighborhood are paying in property taxes. And you get nothing for it at a Bass and all the other stupid bureaucrats. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk to Alex Stone. Alex Stone, ABC News, and he's going to tell us about something I never heard of. Do you know people are they're betting on wildfires? There are online platforms where you could bet on wildfires, where the next one's going to be, what's going to happen in a current one. We'll do that next. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. The LA Homeless Services Authority says the homeless count in LA was only half of what was earlier reported. And a former U.S. Marine is on his way home after being held prisoner in Russia. We'll have more at the top of the hour, heading over to the 405 next.
GiveMeTheVIN.com, where this summer you can sell your car in a hot minute. You ought to try it. Enter your VIN number and get an offer fast. If GiveMeTheVIN.com's offer can't beat CarMax, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVIN.com will get you your check on the spot. Easy, fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
From the Odoo.com Weather Center, Odoo, the only business software you need. Partly cloudy tomorrow, high 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by Big O Tires. From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Stall on the 405 in Culver City.
It's along the southbound side, and it's just past the 10, so just inside of Culver City. That's where the middle lane is blocked. Delays here, well, it's backing up out of West LA from just about Sunset Boulevard. Beyond the stall, the drive remains pretty slow moving all the way to Palo Verde and Long Beach. Let's also look at the drive along the 57 freeway. This is northbound in Orange, but delays from about Orangewood to the 91. And then ahead, leaving Brea from Lambert to the 60 in Diamond Bar. Tough on the 91. This is eastbound in Anaheim, leaving Kramer Glassell. Delays and stretches all the way to Green River. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Silver is no longer just a commodity, it's a strategic resource. Global demand is hitting record highs while supply remains tight. Visit LearCapital.com for your free silver report. That's LearCapital.com. LearCapital.com.
It's the Big O Tires High Temps Low Prices Sales Event. Get up to $120 in instant savings on 4 select tires, plus an additional $100 in rebate savings on qualifying purchases using your Big O Tires credit card through August 31st at your local Big O Tires.
This report is sponsored by Amazon Autos. Add car to cart.
Picture this. You're on magician duty at your kid's birthday, and it's also car shopping day. Sounds tough, right? Not with Amazon Autos. Shop for your car online, pick it up at the dealership, so you can get back to making magic. Visit Amazon.com/autos.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Worried about inflation, market volatility, or the weakening dollar? More Americans are turning to physical gold and silver to help diversify their retirement savings. Right now, receive up to $25,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Call 888-447-7857 now to speak with a gold specialist. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. Not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk. Free silver offers a 10% bonus in silver on qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. $10,000 minimum purchase required. Bonus silver cap to $25,000 and credited customer account. See goldencrestmetals.com for full terms.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO. AMCO, always the right fix. AA MCO. Special financing available. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
AMCO, with over 40 centers serving Southern California.
Bill Handel.
What the president is saying effectively is people who have money, people who have skills. We want people that are going to be positive for America, not negative.
Tomorrow morning at 6 on KFI AM 640.
Negative being people who are clearly undocumented. I mean, you know how he feels about that. But also people that aren't going to do more for America than take from America.
More stimulating talk.
Some apps say they're free, then come the fees. Not the iHeart app. It's 100% free. No required subscriptions to access the best live radio stations, free playlists, podcasts, and more. Download the free iHeart app today.
iHeartRadio. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show continues. We're on from 3 to 6 every day. And this story is crazy. I never heard of this, never thought of this. Do you know on certain online betting platforms like Polymarket, you can bet on fires, wildfires, where they will burn next, and aspects of fires that do burn. During the Palisades and Altadena fires, $1.2 million were bet online. And a group of senators, including Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff, has sent a letter to a federal agency calling for a crackdown on this. We're going to talk with Alex Stone from ABC News. See what this is about. I had no idea this was going on.
Yeah, this is nuts, right? And the people have been spending, probably losing, but also making big money off of this. And we've known about the weather and politics and sporting events that people will bet on. But this is a growing marketplace now with all of the wildfires that are exploding, where people are betting on when and where the next wildfire will break out, how big they're going to get, how many homes are going to take out, when it's going to be put out. I mean, on all kinds of different aspects of the wildfires. And I mean, it's appalling to many, but it's also appealing to many as people are taking part in it. So Polymarket is one of them. There's another website called Wildfire, WYLDFYRE. They've used a slogan of, you can't predict fire, but you can trade on it. And users can wager all kinds of things on for the website Wildfire and just California wildfires. But on the Polymarket and other websites, it can be all around the West, wherever they want to do it, whatever fire they want to talk about. But now these senators have written a letter to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission saying this can't go on, because you think about incentivizing people to start wildfires. If I say, well, it's going to be in Burbank on, Olive and whatever at 3 o'clock. Well, what's to stop me from not going out and starting that wildfire? And, or for firefighters to, kind of like insider trading in this, to know when a fire is going to be put out or where they think it's going to go. And we found out, as you mentioned, that $1.2 million in bets were made on the Palisades and Eaton fires in LA. And that was a year and a half ago, long before these prediction markets really exploded. So if the Palisades and Eaton fires were today, it would likely be a whole lot more than $1.2 million. And by the way, $1.2 million bet on those wildfires is 10 times what is now being bet on a lot of Major League Baseball games with just the regular betting that goes on. So this is it's big business, and then people are putting in a lot of money.
Now, Polymarket is hosted offshore because the federal agency does govern a lot of the betting markets, the ones that are based here in the U.S. Well, what are they going to do about Polymarket?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's going to be difficult. I mean, there are some oversights that the federal government believes it has over Polymarket and some others, and the president has backed a lot of this prediction market betting because he says it's the future of what betting is going to be. But this is one where they're saying, look, lives will be in danger. You do have the potential of everyday Joes or of firefighters with insider knowledge on things, or, a lot of times, unfortunately, we've seen arson cases go back to those on the inside that want to see the response or be part of the response. But this adds another level to it. CAL FIRE has put out a statement saying that they have safeguards in place preventing their firefighters from taking part in this. But you've got a couple of issues there. One, other departments have not gotten that far yet. to put bans in place.
No, what would the safeguard be? You can have a burner phone and start betting, and how would anybody track the bets to you necessarily?
Well, that's the other part of it, that a lot of this is so anonymous out there that what's being done. And even though some of these sites like Polymarket have said that they are trying to put safeguards themselves in place to prevent insider trading on a lot of different topics, not on wildfires, but you remember recently the teleprompter operator who got in trouble at the White House for betting on what the president was going to say in his speeches because the teleprompter operator knew what the president was going to say on his speeches.
I missed that story.
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. And in fact, he would withdraw his bet if Trump skipped over the word that he said that Trump was going to say in the speech. If he was reading along in the prompter and Trump skipped over it, he would then, before the speech was over, save his money and pull out the bet and get his money back. So, it's things like that the marketplaces say that they are trying to prevent now by putting in different rules and checks and whatnot. But in this one, it's fairly new and fresh that people are betting on wildfires. And to the point of, maybe if it were how many homes, if it were how big it's going to be, exactly when they're going to be put out. But for the main bet to be when a fire is going to start and where, that just seems like you're setting it up for people starting wildfires.
Some of the arsonists are so mentally ill. This is just a tiny extra step to make money off it.
Yeah, imagine if you could make a couple of $100,000 by putting in a big bet, or $1 million off of it by saying where a big fire is going to start.
Because you have a compulsion to do it anyway, so why not extend it and make a lot of money?
Yeah, or again, Cal Fire is saying that they are addressing it, but let's just say if it were a firefighter of some kind, who knew they could probably put it out pretty quickly, but if they could get a start somewhere and then make money, there's a lot of areas where it could go bad. And so this is the two from California, obviously, Padilla and Schiff, 7 other states as well. They have written this letter saying this has got to be reined in.
All right, Alex, thanks for coming on. Alex Stone.
You got it. Thanks, John.
ABC News. And we'll have Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Homeless count glitch. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A closer look at the homeless count in L.A. shows the increase was only half of what was reported.
The Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA, says bad math of shelter beds is to blame. Records show the Skid Row population downtown went up by more than 800 people in shelter beds at Union Rescue Mission, but more than 600 of those occupied beds already existed. The new data says last year's number would have still been higher, but only by less than 1.9% increase instead of the 3.4% increase reported last month. Mayor Bass says LAHSA did not tell her about the number screw up, and it's another reason why she wants to pull money out of LAHSA and create a new city homelessness agency. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
The news is brought to you by Pacific Coast Termite. A new poll of the LA mayor's race shows Mayor Bass ahead going into November. The Politico California Playbook poll has Bass leading Councilmember Nithya Raman by 41 to 35. Bass's campaign spokesperson Alex Stack says it shows voters know which candidate in the race is working to make LA more affordable and safe. He says the poll is a sign of the strong coalition that's steady and growing as voters weigh the choice ahead of November. Wildfires are continuing to burn throughout the western U.S. Meteorologist Samara Theodore says air quality in some areas is poor.
Places like Spokane, Boise, Bend, Billings, all experiencing very heavy wildfire smoke that's just meandering in the area.
In Wyoming, smoke from wildfires has blanketed nearly the entire state. The State Department says it's sending a disaster assistance response team to Colombia to help with the earthquake recovery there. More than 200 people have been killed by that quake yesterday. American Alyssa Arroyave was in the gym in Medellin when it hit yesterday.
There was like this sudden commotion and everybody was yelling, and the staff then was like really pushing everybody to get outside as quickly as possible.
Officials in Colombia say the damage is widespread and it's difficult to assess damage in rural areas. A former U.S. Marine is on his way home after being held prisoner in Russia. ABC's Patrick Reevell says Robert Gilman has been held for 4 years.
Gilman was imprisoned while he was visiting Russia after he was accused of kicking a police officer, and his family and the U.S. government say those charges were essentially trumped up.
The Russians say they agreed to release Gilman on humanitarian grounds. New details are emerging about an elaborate effort to protect President Trump from an Iranian threat. The Washington Post reports the president was secretly moved off Air Force One in Turkey using a catering truck. ABC's Martha Raddatz says all three planes, the Qatari gifted jet, the Legacy Air Force One carrying staff and press, and the military craft reportedly carrying the president, landed in Britain.
It's there that the president is reportedly secreted back on to the Legacy aircraft, where he was seen by cameras again deplaning and boarding the Qatari gifted jet.
The White House has neither confirmed nor denied the report, saying it uses every available tool to protect the president from threats. Officials in Japan and South Korea say North Korea has fired a ballistic missile toward the sea. It's the second weapons test by the North Koreans in less than a week. Officials in Japan and South Korea say they detected the launch from North Korea's eastern coastal Wonsan area. And being rich may cost a lot more than you think.
Some numbers from a survey conducted back in 2025 by personal finance website Bankrate says most Americans would need to make about $420,000 a year to achieve what they call financial freedom. In some cities, you're going to need a lot more than that to be considered rich. The numbers say in Seattle, you'll need $720,000 a year. In New York, just over $675,000. And in Los Angeles, you'll need a total of $535,000 a year to be considered rich. Jason Campidonia, KFI News.
We are going to the 5 next.
Is it time to downsize? Selling your home doesn't have to be a hassle with Seller's Advantage. You can skip the real estate agents, commissions, costly repairs, because by the time you paid for repairs and real estate agent fees, you could have already sold your home for a fair, competitive price. Seller's Advantage buys your home as is for cash. Here's what Chris Chavez had to say, a real customer. Seller's Advantage was the best company I've worked with. They offered me more than I expected. The whole process was great. They were helpful, always answered the phone. Can't say enough about the experience. Get your free no obligation cash offer today. Seller's Advantage. Call them at 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658, Providence Realty DRE number 01915212.
Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to mid 80s. Metro LA and the high desert. We do have a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and windy again in the high desert. 80s to around 90 in the valleys. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low 80s inland OC. Upper 80s to low 90s and windy for the IE. Right now 79 in Dana Point, 87 in Anaheim, 89 in Diamond Bar, 84 in Simi Valley. The KFI financial update brought to you by Supershore. Supershore.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed down 184. S&P 500 down 25. NASDAQ down 160. It is slow on the 5 in Norwalk.
Looking at that northbound side, and that's where traffic crowds up, leaving Carmenita. You remain on the brakes ahead in stretches as you travel towards Lakewood Boulevard. You've got a slight opening until you hit the 60, and then you're on the brakes ahead all the way to the 2. Southbound 5 slowing out of Burbank from about Alameda. Delays continue all the way to the 605. And let's look at Irvine. This is the drive on the 5 northbound. That slows at the 133 freeway. Delays continue all the way towards Euclid in Anaheim. It's also very tough in Ontario, both sides of the 15 freeway between the 60 and the 10. Let's look at the 15 in the Cajon Pass. Looking kind of light this afternoon. Northbound gets a little crowded from Kenwood, looking better by Cleghorn. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Help your kid excel in math and love it at brilliant.org.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
Incogni removes your info from databases used by scammers. Incogni.com/KFI for 60% off.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Kelsey Agostinelli, Vice President of Marketing Operations for Mars, talks about the mindset of the listener.
Trust in a platform or trust in a brand comes from transparency. iHeart's commitment to being uniquely human is all about transparency. Leverage the tools where they make sense, but don't fool anyone.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live events, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. I can't even put my headphones on. I have no small motor control at all here. None. It is the John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6 in an hour. Whatever we did will be on the podcast, John Kobylt Show On Demand. We are live on YouTube. We are live on X. And you subscribe, become a member at youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. And Thursday, a live stream. Thursday, we're doing a live stream from 11 to noon or thereabouts. We have a surprise addition to the program. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is coming on via phone just after Deborah's 5:30 news. And he's going to discuss a press conference he did with Scott Turner, who's the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. And they were criticizing all of California's failures that have created the massive amount of homeless in the streets, which they say is caused by all the drugs that people take, which is true. It is not this housing nonsense. It's drugs and mental illness. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to talk about that because they're cutting off the funding. Turner, he's the one who froze the funding to LAHSA. LAHSA has taken over $1 billion in taxpayer money since 2013, even though it's a total failure. The only government entity left giving money to LAHSA is Karen Bass's administration. Counties pulled out, federal government's pulled out. I think the state has cut dramatically. And Turner said despite billions in federal funding, homelessness in California has skyrocketed. LAHSA has abused taxpayer dollars. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he's going to come on with us to talk about all this because you find the federal government increasingly is coming in and trying to address all the out-of-control issues that Bass and Newsom have failed. We had Lee Zeldin on earlier in the show, and he talked about how he's acting like a local, like a local state assemblyman, trying to help people with their permitting issues and their insurance issues. And, this is the stuff that the local politicians ought to be doing for the fire victims in Altadena and the Palisades, and they're simply not. They're failing at it. Newsom, I don't know if you saw it today, he was at some, it looked like one of those over 55 homes in Michigan, because he was basically campaigning with that nutty communist El Sayed. And he had like 17 older people in front of him. That was the crowd that Newsom drew. He's campaigning for president now. And nothing's built. Altadena, Palisades, very slow progress. And then you have this, and this just came out, this story. Ashley Zavala, KCRA, Channel 3 in Sacramento. California's high-speed rail project could run out of money as soon as December 2027. And project leaders are not being clear about the issue. This is from the Inspector General, Benjamin Belknap. He's the Inspector General for the high-speed rail. Inspector Generals are great. They tend to tell the truth. Everybody ignores them. But they go on the record, and if the news media would pay attention and amplify this repeatedly, Well, Benjamin Belknap says the original business plan that they put out earlier this year had major gaps in information. They came out with a second version, high-speed rail. That was still no good. He says the plan violates state law because it doesn't explain how they're going to pay for the things they want to do. Listen to this. Belknap said the business plan does not sufficiently emphasize that the authority will exhaust its current funding as soon as December 2027. The state has spent $18 billion of your money on this non-existent high-speed rail. But just to do Merced to Bakersfield is $36 billion. And get this, the LA to San Francisco route would cost now $231 billion. Do you remember the original price tag? The original price tag, it was going to run from Sacramento to San Francisco to Los Angeles to Anaheim to San Diego. Those 5 cities. It was going to be $33 billion total. And it was going to be done by 2020. Here's the current state. Only LA to San Francisco, $231 billion. And they're not going to get Merced to Bakersfield done before 2034. And probably later, and everything is going to cost way more. The project was supposed to get $1 billion a year from California's greenhouse gas emission fund. You know what that is? That's all the extra gas taxes we pay that no other state does. It goes into the fake greenhouse gas fund. The money's then supposed to finance high-speed rail, and there's no high-speed rail. So you're paying $5.50 a gallon, and there's no rail. There's no track. There's no train. They haven't even bought the trains. They haven't laid down any track. California state budget, they just passed, did not include any new money for the project. They're not even financing it from the government. I don't understand this. Why don't they stop? Why won't they stop? Oh, because they're all corrupt and they're stealing the money, especially the unions that are having their members do the fake work out in the fields. They are such criminals running high-speed rail. Listen to what Belknap says. The authority has obscured basic facts about the project, hindering lawmakers' ability to provide effective oversight and creating obstacles to achieve changes it seeks that requires stakeholder agreement and legislative action. In other words, they're hiding what they're doing. They're not explaining anything. And so the legislature has no way to figure out what they ought to fund or if they should fund it. The business plan does not disclose the fact that the segment's going to be delayed at least until September 2034. Wow. Here's another change in the plan. You know, they keep saying this high-speed rail is going to go to Bakersfield to Merced, and the Merced station was going to be built downtown. No, it's not. The official plan now moves it out into the suburbs. Well, then how would you get downtown? Oh, you know. But it keeps going on. Newsom refuses to kill it. And Becerra's not going to kill it either. This is what's crazy. Steve Hilton will kill it. Becerra will not. I don't know. I think I'm going to vote for Becerra. Oh, okay. Good idea. Worst project in the history of the United States. There is no competitor for this. This is the most expensive, most botched public works project that's ever been created. And Gavin Newsom's been guiding this thing for the last 8 years. He'd make a great president. He really would. It'd be wonderful. All right. We got whining Nithya Raman coming up in a clip because she got kicked off the running the homeless committee. Tell you about that when we come back. And then Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he'll be on the phone as our guest after 5:30, Secretary of Health and Human Services, to talk about how the Trump administration not spending any more money on the homeless scam here in L.A. So big hour we still have. And the biggest attraction of all, Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. California Attorney General Bonta is calling a threat by Paramount to leave the state blackmail. And the State Department says a disaster assistance response team is due in Colombia tonight. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour, going to the 10 next.
When it comes to banking, are all of your eggs in one basket? Well, what happens when your card doesn't work? And you have to look at the back of the card to find the 800 number. Or if your wallet is stolen, who's going to be the reliable source when you need that money? Or need new cards or assurance that your money is safe? Well, you won't have to worry about that with Infinity Bank. Call Victor Guerrero, the president. Set up a new account today. I did with President Victor. Call 657-223-1000. He's a good guy. 657-223-1000. Don't miss out on one of the best rates in the U.S. with their money market savings account. Do this. Infinity Bank.
Southland weather from KFI. Partly cloudy tomorrow, high 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by Capital One. From your Toyota dealers traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 10 in Mid-City.
So this one is making your way along the eastbound side. Coming up on Robertson, middle lane is where it landed. Delays are backing up out of Santa Monica, getting away from Cloverfield. Also, let's check out Garden Grove, a stall on the 22 westbound at Harbor. Landed in middle lanes as well, slowing you down away from Bristol. Big rig fire in Diamond Bar, 60 eastbound Diamond Bar Boulevard, right lane taken out, and that drive is slowing down away from Grand Avenue. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
GiveMeTheVIN.com. This summer, you can sell your car in a hot minute. You ought to try it. Enter your car's VIN number and get an offer fast. If GiveMeTheVIN.com's offer cannot beat CarMax, they'll pay you $100. GiveMeTheVIN.com will get you your check on the spot. Easy, fast. GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Maestro of the movies returns to the Hollywood Bowl for the ultimate concert celebration of John Williams. David Newman leads the Los Angeles Philharmonic and Williams' iconic film score favorites for a trio of can't-miss concerts September 4th, 5th, and 6th. This cherished bowl tradition features some of Williams' biggest hits, including scenes and clips from his best-loved films like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and more on the Bowl's big screen. Get your tickets today at HollywoodBowl.com.
Capital One is a founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports Network. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase with the Capital One Venture X Business Card. Big purchasing power means you can spend more and earn more. The Capital One Venture X Business Card. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Bring better bacon to breakfast with Whole Foods Market. Get 25% off Applegate pork or turkey bacon with Prime through August 18th. Perfect for weekend brunches, breakfast sandwiches, and more. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Gold and silver recently hit record highs, then pulled back. So are metals still a good buy? Many experts say yes. Gold remains a long-standing hedge for wealth protection. Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold kit. That's LearCapital.com. LearCapital.com.
You don't pay for iHeartRadio. Our advertisers do. That's why it's always been and always will be 100% free. Radio, music, podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
If you run a business, you know how hard it is to get your customers' attention. Yet 85% of consumers say radio is the last thing they hear before shopping. Let iHeartRadio help you reach your next customer today at 844-844-iHeart.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry, wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Smile Tunes to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit SmileTunes.com and get out of the doghouse today.
Pull up a chair to At the Table, the food allergy podcast. Each episode will explore how food allergies shape the way we travel, date, celebrate, and connect. Because living with food allergies isn't just about what you can't eat. It's about still having your seat at the table. Brought to you by Genentech and Novartis. Listen to At the Table, the food allergy podcast on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow At the Table and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
Socialism is picking up steam in America. How would it change everyday life for us?
The Gary and Shannon show starts tomorrow morning at 9.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are on every day from 3 to 6. Moist line for Friday, 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. So you can rage away on the Moist line or use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. Is it worth even discussing a Karen Bass, Nithya Raman poll? It's like asking a poll, asking people whether you'd rather die of typhoid or cholera. Well, apparently, I guess the Bass administration or the Bass campaign did a poll. They surveyed 1,200 likely voters from July 22nd to the 28th. That was the week where there was a lot of bad news from the Lineage fire. And when it released, when there was a release of how street homelessness had gone up significantly. And there was a whole week of, boy, Karen Bass is bad at her job. Karen Bass is a failure. But claims that she's got a 4-point edge over Nithya Raman, 37-33. And it becomes 41-35 if you include undecided voters who are leaning towards one candidate or the other. So depending on how you look at it, this poll claims it's got a 4 to 6 point lead. And it is the most depressing race today. This race is the most depressing I've ever seen in my life. Because I can't even make an argument, not even a tiny sliver of an argument for either one. Both are disasters. Both are proven disasters. Both are proven disasters on the most severe issue that we've been facing for 10 years when they've been in charge much of that time of that specific issue, among other things. I mean, Karen Bass has royally effed up everything else. And she's got the luck, or maybe this was part of the plan. I mean, it's got to be why they did the ballot harvesting and stole the election from Pratt. But maybe Bass and Raman were in on the whole deal. Maybe they're just pretending. Normally, my mind doesn't go those places, but honestly, Pratt, Caruso, have they be running in this environment now? And we end up with Raman, and only because they rigged the vote with the homeless people voting, ballot harvesting with zombied out drug addicts, and Raman gets in there. Now, Bass, I guess part of the theater is Bass has to pretend that she and Raman are enemies somehow. So she arranged to have Raman kicked off the chairmanship of the Homelessness and Housing Council, Homelessness and Housing Committee. So Nithya Raman puts out a social media ad to complain about it. Let's play it.
I called for an audit of our homelessness programs in Los Angeles, and now I've been removed as the chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee. I might be getting punished for running against Mayor Bass, but Angelinos are the ones who are paying the price for these political games.
Stop it there. Stop. She calls for an audit. She appropriates the money out of the homeless committee. She does. And I heard Michael Monks and Chris Merrill talking about this today. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Same thing, I guess. It was like $60 million she appropriated out of her committee for this homeless project, and it only housed 3 people. 3 people for $60 million. A lot of the money's unspent. She wants an audit? She wants an audit. She's got $60 million sitting around for a year. 3 people were helped by the program. She wants an audit, and that's why she got kicked off the committee. They assume no one's paying attention and nobody cares. They're just blathering insanity. Play some more.
The mayor has blocked our independently elected city controller from doing an audit of her signature homelessness program, Inside Safe, which has spent hundreds of millions of dollars of the public's money, and still we've seen homelessness go up citywide. But in my district, it went down.
Stop. You approved all that spending. The mayor can't spend money on her own. The city council has to approve it. You voted for it. You approved it. She didn't vote against any of this. Does she get to her belief in defunding the police, by the way? Does that come up in this ad? No? Play some more.
But in my district, it went down by almost 50%, and we did that the hard way.
Wait, hang on a second. That's pretty rich. A woman who made the runoff because she had all these homeless nonprofit organizations rig the election by having drug zombies fill out thousands of last-minute ballots. We're supposed to believe that her homeless numbers went down. That's pretty good. I remind you that she came in third in her own district in the mayoral race. Third. Pushed over the top by an avalanche of Skid Row voters that the nonprofits had arranged to vote. They don't even have to sign the ballot, right? They're too drugged out to sign the ballot. They just have to put an X. I'm not making this up. That's really how it works. Play some more.
But in my district, it went down by almost 50%, and we did that the hard way. We did outreach. We matched people to beds. We got people indoors. That's the work that needs to happen across the entire city.
Stop it. Shut up. Yeah, how's 3 people with $60 million? Good Lord. Terrible. All right, we come back. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary for Health and Human Services, he and the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Scott Turner. Turner's been on our show. Well, Robert F. Kennedy's going to come on because they did a media event today about how California has failed with all its homeless policies. And all this homelessness a lot of it's caused by drugs. And RFK Jr. coming on to discuss things. But first, Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
California Attorney General Bonta is calling a threat by Paramount to leave the state blackmail. CEO David Ellison, according to multiple media reports, is prepared to begin moving the company out of California October 1st unless Bonta agrees to settlement talks over Paramount's proposed merger with Warner Brothers Discovery. Bonta is leading a 12-state lawsuit seeking to block the $110 billion deal on antitrust grounds. Suspected burglars in northern LA County have been caught with technology capable of disrupting security systems.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says the crew was equipped with burglary tools, multiple license plates, and a Wi-Fi jammer. Wi-Fi jammers are capable of disrupting wireless communication signals and could be used to disable home surveillance systems. The crew was allegedly robbing a home in Santa Clarita when they were arrested last week. Officials didn't say whether the jammer was used in that robbery. Mark Mayfield, KFI News.
The lead administrator with the Environmental Protection Agency says the agency's been making headway in areas it normally doesn't cover in the aftermath of the Palisades and Eaton fires. The EPA's Lee Zeldin was on John Kobylt Show just a little while ago and told him that they've been able to help with things like permitting and rebuilding.
I will say that my last visit to Altadena was very refreshing. I saw a big increase in the amount of rebuilding due, but obviously still a lot more work ahead.
He says one Altadena community leader told him they estimate 90% of residents affected by the Eaton fire will return. He says that's a higher number than what he got from the Palisades. The State Department says a disaster assistance response team is due in Colombia tonight. ABC's Faith Abube says a newborn baby has been pulled from the rubble of the magnitude 7.4 quake.
That remarkable image of that newborn tiny baby pulled alive from the rubble. Rescuers are refusing to give up hope that more survivors will be found.
More than 200 people have been killed by that earthquake. And we're getting some more information on the next steps for the body of Jackie, the big bear bald eagle.
Jackie had a large blood clot in her wing and kidney, along with severe anemia that contributed to her death, according to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. But there's still unanswered questions about why she was in poor health. The CDFW says veterinary pathologists at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance will do an autopsy. Then Jackie's body will go to the National Eagle Repository, which then gives eagle remains, parts, and feathers to tribes in the U.S. for religious, cultural, and ceremonial purposes. Jason Nathanson, KFI News.
We're going to go to the 10 next.
Give me the VIN.com. No. They say time heals all wounds. Well, the accident attorneys at Sweet James know that's only partly true. Whether you're hurt in an accident, you should know the legal system is rigged. Yeah, that's rigged too. You need someone who knows the system inside and out with the level of experience and care to fight for you when billion-dollar insurance companies refuse to help. Don't fight alone. You have the attorneys at Sweet James. They'll walk beside you and tell your story and make them listen. And they deliver results that sends the insurance companies a message and helps you get the maximum compensation and the justice you deserve. If you're hurt in a car, truck, motorcycle accident, call your accident attorneys at Sweet James. 800-9-MILLION, 800-9-MILLION. You pay no costs or fees until they win. With an office in L.A., 800-9-MILLION, 800-9-000-000, sweetjames.com.
Southline weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs upper 70s to mid 80s for Metro, LA, and the high desert. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms and windy again in the high desert. 80s to around 90 in the valleys. Low to upper 70s at the beaches. Low 80s inland OC. Upper 80s to low 90s and windy in the IE. Right now 89 in Laguna Woods and 84 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Slow on the 10 in City Terrace.
Eastbound delays are crowding up, leaving Soto Street. You remain on the brakes ahead all the way to Azusa. Looks like they're wrapping up a crash just before Azusa. That 60 eastbound looks like a lot of people were taking that as an alternate, and that's loading up, leaving the 5, heading out of Boyle Heights. You're slowing East LA, passing the 710 with delays that continue all the way to the 605. Staying on that 60 eastbound, you've got more slowing ahead in Rowland Heights. This is getting away from Azusa. So you continue towards the 57 freeway and the 57 out of Brea northbound. You've got a crash just past Lambert, and that's pushing you back away from Imperial Highway. There's another problem ahead near Pathfinder, and you're on the brakes from Pathfinder to the 60. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Gold has hit record highs, and many Americans are discovering they can move part of their existing IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver without paying taxes or penalties. It's called a rollover, and Golden Crest Metals helps investors do it every day. No cash out, no complicated paperwork, no hassle. Golden Crest is a nationally recognized precious metals firm seen on Fox Business and CNBC with an A- BBB rating and 5-star reviews. Plus, right now, receive up to $25,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Call 888-447-7857 now for your free information kit and speak with a gold specialist. That's 888-447-7857. Again, call 888-447-7857. That's 888-447-7857. Golden Crest Metals is not a financial advisor. Precious metals involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. Free silver offer consists of a 10% bonus and silver applied to qualifying purchases of premium minted coins. Minimum purchase of $10,000 required. Bonus silver capped to $25,000 and credit is in addition to customer account. Free IRA storage subject to qualifying purchase tiers. See GoldenCrestMetals.com for full terms and conditions.
Help your kid excel in math and love it at brilliant.org.
Lose the weight, feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST Medical.
Running a business is hard enough. Don't make it harder with dozens of apps that don't talk to each other. One for sales, another for inventory, a separate one for accounting. That's software overload. Odoo is the all-in-one platform that replaces them all. CRM, accounting, inventory, e-commerce, HR, fully integrated and easy to use, and built to grow with your business. Thousands have already made the switch. Why not you? Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Tap into happy hour with half-priced pizzas and select apps every weekday at Yard House. Find yours at yardhouse.com.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Have a termite problem? You must act fast. Call Ecola at 1-800-332-BUGS.
Protect your retirement with gold and silver. Call Golden Crest Metals, 888-447-7857.
I'm Michael Gates, and I'm running for Attorney General.
For years, Californians have asked for one simple thing: enforce the laws. And the political class said no. They protect each other, they leave our neighborhoods unsafe, and we are left to fend for ourselves. I don't work for the elites, I work for you. As your Attorney General, I'll enforce the laws you voted for, go after corruption in both political parties, and put your family first. Vote Michael Gates for Attorney General.
Paid for by Gates for Attorney General 2026.
Teachers make a difference each and every day. Now's your chance to say thanks. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who goes above and beyond for students. They could be one of our $5,000 winners for classroom supplies and resources. Teachers give so much. Now it's our turn to give back. Nominate a teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
No reason to trouble yourself by diving into this muck.
Cannonball!
We'll do it for you.
This swamp covers a lot of wet ground.
Swamp Watch with Gary and Shannon.
This is a sewer. Weekdays at 11:20 on KFI.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6, and then in about a half an hour after 6 o'clock, whatever you missed today, and we had a lot going on, you could hear the podcast, John Kobylt Show on demand. It's the same as the radio show. All right, let's get right to it. We've got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. coming on with us over the phone. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Secretary of Health and Human Services, in town today, along with the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner. And we've had Mr. Turner on before. And we're going to talk to Robert Kennedy about the federal government not putting up with all the wasted money that we send to the homeless criminal operation here. Let's get Robert F. Kennedy Jr. How are you?
I'm good, John. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Tell me what your impression is of this whole homeless machine and all the billions of dollars it's spent, and everything has gotten worse in the streets. What do you think is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been operated like a racket. And today we drove past that Ramada Inn that in 2019, it was bought for $2.5 million to serve as a homeless shelter, and there's still nobody in it. And meanwhile, we toured two faith-based facilities today, one of them in Los Angeles, and which is a 600-bed facility. It's the Dream Center, and it's treating 600 men and women families. It treats them at a cost of $7,000 a year, or $7,500 a year. The county gets $185,000 a year. And the people at the Dream Center they leave with a job, they leave with a year of sobriety, and they leave with money in the bank. And they have a tremendous success rate. And yet the county-run facilities are just a disaster. And then, there's so much fraud in all of them. We just closed down an entire program in Minnesota because we expected to spend about $13 million a year on this program that provides housing to people with disabilities and to elderly people. The cost during the Biden administration went up to $200 million a year. And when we looked into it, the people who were running these facilities were not actually taking care of clients. They were spending the money on houses for themselves, on automobiles, fancy automobiles, and luxury items, and just stealing it. And because so much money had disappeared, we had to shut down the entire program, which shows that when the people who are stealing or committing fraud against HUD, against Medicaid, are not just stealing taxpayer money. They're stealing money from the people who desperately need help, who deserve to be able to take advantage of these programs. And they're the poorest people in our society, and that is who they're stealing from.
To justify all the money that they spend, they'll insist that the drugs and the mental illness is not the cause of the problem. They need these billions to build more housing, which, of course, never gets built or takes forever. I think they're building housing for $1 million a unit in some of these programs in LA.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with my agency started with my predecessor, Xavier Becerra, who came into that agency. Now, my agency, HHS, has a $2.2 trillion budget. It's twice the size of the Pentagon. When he got there, there were only 80 people in the agency who were doing program integrity. So that's 80 people who are there, whose job it is to make sure that none of that $2.2 trillion gets stolen every year. And we do 4 million transactions a day just in Medicaid.
4 million, he said. Let's see if you can reconnect.
We did 76 of them. So that when I came in, there was literally only 6 people in the entire agency doing program integrity. And that just gave permission to the fraudsters all across the country. And, we've now closed down 8,000 hospices in Los Angeles. How do these are, hospices are these facilities that are supposed to take care of people at the end of their lives. The way that we found out they were committing fraud is that none of the people in them were ever dying. The patients typically in a hospice last about 3 months. These people were living forever. And when we went down, we closed 5,000 of them down, and there was no complaints. So nobody called because they were just operations. They didn't have patients. They had patient numbers, and they were charging my agency $6,000 a month for every one of these patients. And it all happened because Xavier Becerra took the gatekeepers out of my agency. He also implemented a system called pay and chase. So, John, when invoices come into my agency from doctors, from hospitals, from hospices, from durable medical equipment sales, who say, okay, we just sold some equipment to you, to a Medicaid patient. Here's the bill, pay it. We know that a lot of those are fraudulent. And a lot of them we can tell when they get to our agency that they are highly likely to be fraudulent claims. If there's one claim from one doctor for $5 million for durable medical equipment in a 6-week period, we know it's got to be fraudulent. You couldn't see that many patients. So there's ways that most of this can be detected before you pay. If Sarah changed the rule so that the policy, so that every invoice that comes into the agency gets paid, and then when you find out that it's fraudulent, you chase it and claw the money back, which of course never happens. So all of these systems were just completely dismantled. These systems for program integrity, for fraud detection, were dismantled when he was in there. And now we're living with the fallout from that. We're living with hundreds of billions of dollars being stolen from the American people every single year.
Why would he do that? Why would he dismantle all the infrastructure that had been built up forever to catch fraud?
Well, I asked people the careers at the agency, the people who were here during the Democratic administration, and they said that when he came in and they complained and said, hey, we're being raked over the coals like fraud, he told them, we don't do fraud detection anymore. I want you to focus on enrollments. In other words, signing up as many people as possible for these programs and signing up people who, including people who could not legally get the program, people who are undocumented, aliens, people who were already enrolled in Medicare and Medicaid in another state, people who were enrolled in Obamacare, people who had $1 million home. They're not supposed to be getting Medicaid money. And so they were focused on all of the energy was directed toward enrolling as many people as possible into these programs. And none of it was directed toward fraud detection.
So he didn't care how much money was getting flushed away, just as long as the enrollment numbers were bulked up.
Exactly. I mean, I can't look into his head. I can only tell you what I know, which is the fraud detection apparatus of my agency was completely dismantled.
Great. And Sarah's leading by 25 points for governor now. This is what we're going to look forward to in California here for the next 4 years if he wins. Speaking of the governor, how much of this should have been stopped by Newsom or county officials or LA city officials? How much of it is it their responsibility?
Well, it's their responsibility, but they have very little incentive to do anything because the federal government from now, during Obamacare, the rule was changed when they did the Medicaid expansion so that instead of paying, 50 or 60% of Medicaid, the federal government, which is supposed to pay 50 or 60%, the state pays 40 or 50. Under the Medicaid expansion, the federal government pays 90%. So, they're seeing all these federal dollars pour into the state. And at some point you say, hey, we don't really care if this is being stolen. We're getting so much money in the state and it's coming from the federal government. If we don't take it, some other state will. So let's not look too carefully at the transactions. So I think the temptation to just, not block this huge flow of federal dollars into the state of California blinded them to what they should do that was right. And, John, our system of government was all of these regulatory programs, these entitlement programs are based on the assumption that people are generally pretty honest. And nobody is out there trying to steal, that people are going to behave honestly. Well, something's broken down now in our system where that's no longer true. And, if you give people, if you leave the gate door, the lock open, people are going to come in and steal. And that is what happened. It was predictable. And, it's terrible for our country. It's just terrible.
I understand you have to go. I want to thank you for coming on, and I hope you can come on again and talk more about this because this is one of the biggest issues that's killing the state.
Yeah. All right. Good to talk to you, John.
Good to talk with you. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And we'll have more. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. The death toll from the earthquake in Colombia climbs above 200, and stenographers may be a thing of the past in California. We'll have more at the top of the hour, heading over to the 57 next.
GiveMeTheVIN.com, where this summer you can sell your car in a hot minute. You got to try it. Enter your VIN number and get an offer fast. If GiveMeTheVIN.com's offer cannot beat CarMax, they will pay you $100. And GiveMeTheVIN.com will get you your check on the spot. Easy, fast, GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow, highs 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by Albertsons and Vons. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Truck fire on the 57 in Diamond Bar.
This one is along the northbound side. It's coming right up on Diamond Bar Boulevard. Very low on details as far as which lanes are blocked, but I do know this. We do have reports that fire crews are on the scene and that traffic is being directed. It's just not telling us what lanes are blocked. So let's say at least the far right lane is blocked and traffic is an absolute mess. I'm seeing single digit speeds that are backing up all the way out of Brea, getting away from Imperial Highway. So if you see this, pound 250, keyword KFI traffic. So look at Anaheim, East 91, slowing down from Kramer Glassell. It's a tough drive all the way to Green River and Corona and even Chino Hills, 71 southbound. pushing back off of Pine Avenue all the way to the 91 freeway. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
When it comes to banking, are all of your eggs in one basket? Let me tell you about Infinity Bank. What happens when your card doesn't work and you have to look at the back of the card to find the 800 number? What happens if your wallet is stolen? Who's going to be the reliable source when you need money, new cards, or insurance that your money is safe? You don't have to worry about that with Infinity Bank. Call Victor Guerrero, the president, and set up a new account today. He did it for me. I have a new account with Infinity Bank. Call Victor at 657-223-1000. 657-223-1000. And for a limited time only, don't miss out on one of the best rates in the U.S. with their money market savings account, Infinity Bank.
Shop Vons and Albertsons for savings on lunch essentials. This week, Nature's Own bread, 20 ounces, selected varieties are $2.99 each with digital coupon. And large yellow peaches, nectarines, or plums are $1.99 a pound with digital coupon on VonsOrAlbertsons.com.
This report is sponsored by Big O Tires.
It's the Big O Tires High Temps Low Prices Sales Event. Get up to $120 in instant savings on 4 select tires, plus an additional $100 in rebate savings on qualifying purchases using your Big O Tires credit card. Through August 31st at your local Big O Tires.
Are you like millions of Americans who avoided filing their taxes this year because you're afraid you will owe the IRS thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you don't need to be afraid anymore. Tax Relief Advocates has the solution. We can file your back tax years and may be able to reduce or even eliminate what you owe. With over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, we've helped over 100,000 Americans just like you permanently and painlessly resolve their IRS debt. A resolution specialist is waiting to speak to you now, who will let you know what tax debt reduction you may qualify for. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call our tax relief hotline now to see what you qualify for at 800-511-0719. 800-511-0719. Again, that's 800-511-0719. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Seriously, my dealership just fixed the transmission.
We all know how it can be to go to the wrong place for transmission repair. Made up of over 800 pieces, the transmission is the most complex part of your car. So bring it to the transmission experts at AMCO. AMCO, always the right fix. AAMCO. Special financing available. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
Call 1-800-GO-AMCO today.
When it comes to your business, great promotions should do more than just get your name out there. They should drive action. And that's exactly what you'll get when you partner with this year's iHeartRadio Music Festival. Imagine your business connecting with fans as you're associated with some of the world's biggest musical stars. It's a great opportunity for your business to grow awareness, engagement, and leads through ticket giveaways, sweepstakes, QR codes, and local media. Make your business part of the iHeartRadio Music Festival today. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com.
After an accident, one question comes to mind. What happens next? Wilshire Law Firm brings clarity when things feel uncertain. While you focus on healing, we fight for the compensation you deserve. That's what happens next. Call now. 1-800-ABCDEFG. Wilshire Law Firm is in LA.
Therapy Thursday with Ellen K is a new podcast. Real problems and the kind of drama you can't stop thinking about. Catch it on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
You'll learn more before breakfast than most people learn all day. Wake Up Call with Amy King. Live 5 to 6 a.m. on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. And let me tell you, we're going to have the podcast released in just a few minutes, shortly after 6 o'clock. We had Robert Kennedy on a few minutes ago. And if you're just joining us and you missed it, you ought to listen to it. He gave a good roadmap on what the incentive is for all this money to get stolen and for Gavin Newsom not to do anything about it. He explained at a press conference today that they're cutting off the homeless money from the federal government to LASA because so much of it has been wasted. And so much of the Medicaid money has been wasted as well with the fake hospices. And he said there's no incentive for Newsom's government to track the waste because 90% of the money is federal tax money. It used to be 60-40 or 50-50 between what the federal government pays and the state pays. Now it's 90-10. So they don't care. And progressives measure success by how many people they enroll in a program. That's what they brag about. That's what they run for office on. So at the same time that, they've changed the formula where 90% of Medicaid money is federal money, so Newsom doesn't care. Javier Baccaria, who had Kennedy's job, he told them we're not in the fraud catching business anymore, fraud detection business. We're in the enrollment business. It matters how many people we sign up for all these programs. So they bloated the rolls. They send huge amounts to the state. And here, no one's looking at oversight. No one has any oversight in Washington for fraud, nor in Sacramento. So you have hundreds and hundreds of these fake hospices taking the money and running with it. Works same thing in the homeless industry. No oversight in Washington in the past, none in Los Angeles. So all these wackadoodle nonprofits say, hey, I got a program for the homeless. Give me $22 million. Okay, here. That's it. When there's a huge pot of money, this is human nature. Every bad person who can get access to the money will get access to the money and steal it. And there is no incentive on the part of a Gavin Newsom, a Javier Becerra, a Karen Bass to stop it. They're about bragging how many people they've enrolled, how many people joined the program. I guess that gets them votes from people who feel like the government should be spending money on all the poor people and the sick people and the elderly people, except the money doesn't go to them. It like Robert Kennedy just said, not only are they stealing from the taxpayer, in Los Angeles, they're stealing from all the drug-addicted, mentally ill people who deserve the homeless money from government. They deserve to have the money for their drug treatment and their mental health treatment and some kind of shelter, and they're not getting it because nonprofits are running off with it, just like the fake hospice businessmen in Van Nuys are running off with the money. Becerra doesn't care. Bass doesn't care. Newsom doesn't care. You never hear any of them discussing it in the detail that Kennedy just did. Never. Not their money, tax money. They don't care about solving the problem. Their friends are running all these nonprofits. And then they kick back campaign donations to the likes of Bass and Newsom and Becerra. And they're so sure that Democratic voters will vote for them no matter what, Becerra's not even campaigning anymore. Bass was so unworried about getting reelected that her Inside Safe program is a massive failure, and she doesn't care either. Street homelessness is up. Okay, fine. Let's roll with it. I'll get elected anyway. And in case somebody like Spencer Pratt sneaks into the system, well, they have a backup plan. What did Newsom call it? Break glass in an emergency? He had a plan. The election didn't go right for governor. Well, that break glass plan is the ballot harvesting, is the vote rigging, is signing up homeless people by the thousands, all the drug zombies. That's the break glass in an emergency. Anyway, listen, we also had Lee Zeldin on. He runs the Environmental Protection Agency, and he's been doing a tremendous amount of work, he and his staff, trying to help out the people in the Palisades and Altadena. So listen to that as well in the podcast. All right. So we had Lee Zeldin on. We had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on, and we will see you tomorrow. We got Michael Crozier with the news live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.